in that game a 10-minute brawl a la the NHL. Nick Foteau of the Rangers and Steve Durbano of St. Louis start the whole thing. Both players, after it was over, was ejected. Watch Durbano moon the crowd as he is ejected. He got 40 minutes in penalties last night. The record for a player for one evening is 45. You see this sort of stuff, folks, and you kind of miss the beauty of Russian hockey, don't you? At the Silverdome last night, the Pistons beat Philadelphia 106-99. And tonight, we are going to take you behind the scenes. As he turned away 45.
The Detroit Red Wing Hockey Club brings you the game between the New York Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings.
Detroit Red Wing Hockey is brought to you by your AMC and Jeep dealers, home of the AMC Concord, Pacer, Spirit, and Jeep vehicles. And by Labatt's. For beer at its finest, call for Labatt's. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it.
And so we say hi again to you from here at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, where the Detroit Red Wings sit able are about to take on one of the most tremendous tasks that any team in the National Hockey League faces. That is a game against the New York Islanders right here in New York.
The second best team, no doubt, in the National Hockey League, and they may be the best, Bruce. They have talent, they have goal scorers, they have a strong defense, and they've had excellent goaltending all season long. It's going to be a very important game to the Islanders, more important to the Wings, to see if they can get some credibility on the road after winning a big game in Washington.
Well, that's something. I was just going to make mention of the fact that Rogie Vachon turned in perhaps his best job of the season, knocking away all but 3 of the shots, and there were close to 50 fired at him in the game at Washington. He'll be back in the nets with the Red Wings tonight, but he'll be facing what has to be solidly the best line in the National Hockey League, with that line of Gillies, Trottier, and Bossy.
You know, I'm just amazed at what young Mike Bossy does. He has scored 48 goals. He scored 53 in the entire season last year, his first year in the league. This kid can put the puck in the net. A la Rocket Richard, I would think. He doesn't carry the puck that much. Trottier is an excellent center iceman. The Gillies over on the left side gives them the size and the roughness. Both Bossy and Trottier are small, but they do score goals, and it, no doubt, I would say, is the best line in hockey today.
Well, one of the sidelights of this afternoon's hockey game will indeed be Mike Bossy, because he is within 1 goal of tying a National Hockey League record. Bossy has scored a goal, at least one, in his last 9 consecutive games. Well, the record is 10. It is held by Bobby Hull and Andy Bathgate. And if he should score against the Red Wings today, he will tie that. Then he would, of course, be 1 away from setting the record and holding it by himself.
Well, you know, the old record, and I didn't think the National League went back to 1921-22 as far as records were concerned, but Harry Broadbent with the Ottawa Senators in 1921-22 went 11 games in a row, and during those 11 games, though, he scored 25 goals, so that's quite a scoring clip. Bossy, you know, earlier in the season went 9 games in a row, and Detroit stopped him right here in the island. Here he is right back with 9 games. If he scores, he matches Bathgate and Hull. And no doubt he's looking at the 11 or possibly more than 11 to get in the record book all by himself.
Well, they call it a modern National Hockey League record, and they don't consider Broadbent in the modern era, I guess.
Bruce, I want to mention one thing, too. Mike Bossy is playing with a very bad hand today. It's a shooting hand. It's taped. It's a bad bruise, I guess, on the base of his thumb. This might affect the way he shoots the puck, and that is his big fort, because he can get the puck away so soon. He scores goals before goaltenders get set.
This will be the 4th and final game of the season series between the 2 teams. The Islanders have won the first 3. Bossy has scored only 1 goal in those 3 games, and we'll see what he does here this afternoon. And on the subject of seeing what's been happening, we're going to make a little comparison this year to last year. Teams and players. We'll be doing that after we pause now for this message. Sid, we have talked from time to time, for that matter, who hasn't, around Detroit hockey circles, that this indeed has not been the sort of a season that the Red Wings had anticipated, the fans had anticipated. It's been a year in which just about nothing seemingly has gone right. And it's Well, with 20-some games remaining, you sort of get the feeling that the Wings would just be playing them out. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, definitely won't be the case. The Wings have to prove something. They're a little disappointed, no doubt, in their own games. But I would think that, Bruce, when we go back to the start of the season, when they acquired Rogie Vachon, they were sure that Rogie would come in and maybe win 8 or 10 games that they weren't capable of winning a year ago. He has played well, but the defense haven't played well in front of him, and Rogie's been the brunt of nearly all the attacks, saying why this hockey club hasn't played better. I don't blame the goaltender. He hasn't been as sharp maybe as they expected, but Rogie Vachon is still one of the real great goaltenders in the National League, and given proper checking out in front, I would think he would be one of the real good goaltenders. The Wings have to prove that they can play positional hockey, that the defense can stand up at the blue line and stop these teams from getting in and getting their first shot, pick up the rebound. This is where they're getting beat. Vachon makes the original save time and time again. The rebounds bounce out, then there's somebody beats a wing to the puck and puts it in the net.
Well, we talk about this year and last year. Let's take a moment or two just to check the differences right now, to take a look at the statistics, the points from a season ago. Sid, we have a couple of game discrepancy. The Red Wings have played 58 games. This will be their 59th here this afternoon. We went back a year and we had the statistics at 56, so we have played 2 more games this season. And yet take a look at the Montreal Canadiens a season ago. They're right about where they were, 89 points, this season 88. And they're not going to change.
No, they're not going to change. Montreal, they have a machine. They're doubtful right now. The Islanders, I think, can challenge them, but Montreal is considered the best hockey club in the National League.
And a season ago, the Los Angeles Kings, they're just about where they were at this particular time. The Los Angeles Kings at 56 points. The Red Wings a season ago at 52, and they finished the year with 78 and finished ahead of Los Angeles in second place, which, of course, earned them the automatic playoff berth. Then it was Pittsburgh with 52 points a season ago at this time, and Washington had 33. And so that's the way they stood a year ago, and it has changed a bit.
Well, it's changed because Pittsburgh has come on real strong. Pittsburgh, while their record is pretty well within 5 or 6 points of where they were a year ago, the Wings, in the meantime, with 52 last year, are sitting with 40 this year, and there's the big discrepancy in the standings. LA, I think, is playing pretty well the way Detroit and Pittsburgh thought they would play. I exactly thought at this time, too, that the Wings would be right there with Pittsburgh and LA, and it would be a fight down to the wire as to which clubs would get in, but it isn't happening that way.
So what has happened, actually, is the fact that a year ago at this time, the Red Wings, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles were all battling, all very close for that fight for second place. This year, it just hasn't happened. The Red Wings have just about put themselves out of contention with those third period losses, I think, the biggest factor in the early part of the season. And if there has been an improvement, consider a year ago that the Washington Capitals had 33 points, and this season they're at 45, and they would have far and away to be the most improved team in the Norris Division.
Well, I would say, too, the loss the other night, Bruce, where the Wings walked right into Washington and beat them 3-2. This hurt Washington's chances. You know, the last time Washington were in Detroit, General Manager Max McNabb was saying, we think we'll make the playoffs. Well, the gap is getting too big now for them to make the playoffs. I would think it's a battle between Pittsburgh and Los Angeles. Hopefully Detroit can win some hockey games and make a fight as to not just let them run away with it.
And with the wild card situation being what it is, it does not mean that a team that finishes third, in other words, if Los Angeles beats out Pittsburgh or vice versa, the other team won't be there in the first round of the wild card area.
Listen, there are clubs like Toronto and Buffalo over in the other division that are in a fight too with Los Angeles and Pittsburgh and Minnesota as to find out which club is going to be in and which club is going to be out. It's very feasible that Toronto might miss the playoffs.
Well, what about the individuals with the Detroit Red Wings this year to last year? That's something we'll be checking after we pause now for this. Sid, when a hockey club is having a poorer season than they did the season before, you generally look at individual performances. You have talked about goaltending. That could be one of the reasons, because as we'll check a little bit later too, the goals against this season is up from where it was a year ago. But let's take a look at the individual performances thus far. Let's go back a year ago, the 1970-78 season. After 56 games, Dale McCourt in his rookie season was the leader with 53 points. Perhaps a surprise of the team, the young fellow Reed Larson, who came through with 47 points from his defensive spot. And Andre Saint-Laurent, what a find he was, coming to the Wings early in the season, and he did the job, didn't he?
Well, I think that was the big trade that Ted Lindsay made last year. Andre Saint-Laurent came to Detroit. He more literally carried the club for a period of a month or two, scored a lot of goals. This year, he's not having the season at all in comparison with last year.
Paul Woods, who isn't a goal scorer, isn't a point scorer, still had 27 at this stage a year ago. Nick Livett is up and down his wing doing his job with 25. Denis Potvin, 23. And Netamansky, who came to the Wings early in the season also, had 20 points and really didn't get going until the latter part of the season. So this is a little misleading, Netamansky's point total. And so we can now take a look to compare things of what the Red Wings have done thus far after 58 games this season. Dale McCourt is right there with 55 points, but he really hasn't been the performer he was a year ago.
No, I don't think Dale McCourt has lived up to the way he played last year. He was a leader on this hockey club last year. He has played well in spots this year, and his goal production or point production is very, very close to what it was a year ago, Bruce. But they're not the important goals that he scored last year. The difference, I think, in the scoring this year, this club has only scored, I guess, a couple less goals as far as goal production. Netamansky has been the one that has come on strong because he only scored 11 goals last year, and this year he is scoring goals with regularity.
26 at this stage, and Ned in his last 12 games has 9 goals and another 6 assists. Harold Thompson has been a help. He's been hurt on and off. He'll not be playing today, but he has 44 points overall. Reed Larson, who we mentioned, had 47 a season ago, with 42 now. Saint-Laurent falling off to his 33. Nick Livett has improved with 31, if you want to call it an improvement. Nick still does the job. And Tommy Bergman with his 26 points. And so we have an opportunity to compare last year to this year on the individual performances. We talked a little bit about the goals for and the goals against, Sid. A year ago and this season, comparatively speaking, there's not much different. A year ago at this time, the Wings had scored 181. Now they've scored 183. But the big difference is in the goals against. Last year, 195. This year, 28 more with 223, and that perhaps is a difference.
That is the entire difference, and I would think if you could break it down further, Bruce, and go through period by period of their play this year, you'd find that the 28-goal difference has probably happened after the 10-minute mark of the third period. It's the final few minutes at times, but the final 10 minutes of the third period that has let the Wings down all year long. They haven't been able to hold a lead. If they're tied coming late, say late in the third period, they're beaten by a goal. And it's not a case where a lot of times where they're outplayed that bad. It's by a mistake that they make in their own zone, and the other teams seem to be able to bounce on it and score. The Wings are not known as a great scoring hockey club, so when they get a chance to score, they better put it in because they don't get as many chances.
Well, you hit it, the nail right on the head. We figured it out earlier today. The Red Wings, I think, have something like 53 goals in the third period this season. They have given up 77. And in the game in Washington, they won it, but they were outshot 13-3 in that third period, though neither two teams scored, thanks to Rogie Vachon. But we'll be back to get this hockey game underway, but before we do that, we'll pause now for this. And so the two teams out onto the ice, getting set to get this hockey game underway. The referee for the hockey game is Greg Medill. The two linesmen, Gerard Gauthier, along with Matt Pavelich. And in goal for the Detroit Red Wings will be Rogie Vachon. And it'll be Billy Smith in the nets now for the New York Islanders. That was Billy Smith who shut out the Wings in the second game played. That one was at Detroit's Olympia Stadium back the middle part of the month of December. The Red Wings lost to the New York Islanders here in New York back the 14th of December with a final score 4-1 Islanders. Then the Islanders moved into Detroit to beat the Wings 3-0, and then the early part of January, that 5-5 tie at Olympia Stadium in Detroit, where the Red Wings made, talk about a third period, certainly their best comeback of the season. When the Wings are playing without the services of Jimmy Rutherford tonight, or this afternoon. Jimmy, and we're very sorry to announce, lost his young sister after surgery in Canada over the last couple of days, and so he, of course, is not here, remaining at home. And Detroit moving into their Kalamazoo Farm Club, bringing up young Jim Baxter, who will be the backup goaltender to Rogie Vachon. John Hamel remains on the injured list with that severed tendon in the finger. Brent Peterson, the rookie, who broke his leg in about the 5th game he played. Errol Thompson, who cracked his cheekbone. Greg Jolly, though, is back in uniform, and this will be our first look at him this season, though he did play in the game that we did not broadcast nor telecast on Wednesday night. Now, prior to the start of this hockey game from here at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Long Island, the singing and the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see why the dawn's early light was so proudly we held as twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare bursting in came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave on the land of the free and the
And the singing and the playing of our national anthem prior to the start of this hockey game between the Detroit Red Wings and the New York Islanders. You look at the three officials. Greg Medill in the middle. That's Matt Pavelich, no stranger to Detroit area fans, who makes his home around Windsor, and Gerard Gauthier, as we mentioned, will be the other linesman. There's Rogie Vachon in the Detroit goal, adjusting the mask, getting things set. Turned in a stellar performance his last time out against Washington Wednesday night, and that's Billy Smith, who'll be in goal for the New York Islanders, and this hockey game is about to get underway. The Wings will open up with Billy Huber. At center ice, J.P. LeBlanc on the right side, and it'll be Perry Miller moving up to the left wing, and they're in against the big line of Trottier, Bossy, and Gillies. Islanders win the opening face-off, but Terry Harper slid it back into the New York zone. Gerry Hart handing it off there to Stefan Persson. Now it's Hart. Play moved out to center ice. That's Trottier's move away from Harper into the Detroit zone. Clark Gillies. Here is Bossy right out in front, and he slid it wide. Puck sent right out in front, and then dumped wide of the net by Gillies. As the Islanders came close, puck bouncing along the boards. Miller knocked down. That's Tommy Bergman. Puck played in behind his own goal by Hogabon, and J.P. LeBlanc took a heavy bump by Gerry Hart as he sent it back out center ice. Persson turning it now to Clark Gillies. Here is Gillies shooting it off the boards in behind the Detroit goal. Vachon lost sight of it. It came back to the blue line. Persson handing it off there to Gerry Hart. Hart playing it into the corner. It rolled in behind the net. Tommy Bergman put it out in front of the goal, and now Billy Hogabon turns it out center ice. Played over on the right side. LeBlanc tipped it into the New York zone, and Hart heads back after it. Both teams changing on the move now. Garry Howatt. Howatt fired it off the boards in behind the Detroit net. Vachon cleared it over on the left side. That's Saint Laurent after it. Greg Carroll at center ice. Polonich on the right wing. Polonich over the line. Here's Carroll cutting right in with a shot, and he fired it wide. Howatt flipped it ahead, and now it's Nystrom heading back for the Islanders. Bob Nystrom over on the right side. That's Denis Potvin trying to work around Jolly. Puck went to the side of the net. Vachon clears it now to Saint Laurent. That's Carroll, who has bumped off the puck. It's loose. Denis Polonich fired it down the ice, and there'll be an icing call. As back after it is Dave Lewis. The linesman Matt Pavelich lost his balance and went sliding into the net off to the right side, but he was all right. He even called the icing while he was down in the seat of his pants.
And the Islanders started off with quite a lot of pressure. I noticed one thing right off the bat. They moved young Gerry Hart, not young Gerry Hart, but Gerry Hart run right in the corner and took a piece of LeBlanc. I think they're going to try and establish that they will be physical, see how the Wings will cope with it in their own zone.
Now the Wings have moved Dan LeBratton out on the left side of the line, replacing the injured Errol Thompson, with McCourt at center and Nedemansky on the right wing. Reed Larson tipped it in behind his goal. Perry Miller has now moved back to the defense, failed to work it out. That's McCourt with it. He worked it away from Bob Bourne, and ahead now to Netamansky. Off to LeBratton. Checked right there at center ice by Potvin. Now Lewis cleared it ahead to John Tonelli. It's fired in behind the Detroit goal. Vachon in behind his own net. It went dangerously loose off to the side of the goal, but McCourt's there. Netamansky didn't get it out. There's a shot by Harris. It went wide. It came back toward the line to Lewis. Dave Lewis let the shot go, and Vachon rather wisely holds onto it. And we have a pause in the action. We'll be back in a moment. No score in the hockey game. We've played 2 minutes and 19 seconds of the first period. Tomorrow night, the Red Wings at Olympia Stadium. They'll be welcoming home Billy LaHead and the Colorado Rockies. Detroit staying now with Dale McCourt at center ice. LeBratton on the left side, but now Denis Potvin has come out on the right wing, replacing Netamansky. From the face-off, McCourt won the draw. Here's Reed Larson. Larson dumping it ahead. Potvin got a stick on it, knocked away, and Bob Lorimer, number 4, cleared it ahead for Billy Harris. Now Harris firing it off the boards, off to the side of the net. Larson goes in behind his own goal, being chased by Tonelli. Didn't get it out. That's Billy Harris. Now Tonelli put it out in front. Miller tipped it away, and here now Dale McCourt. Off on the left side, LeBratton. Back to McCourt. Bourne checking him. That puck stayed in the Islanders' zone. Harris failed to work it out. They battle in along the boards for it, and it's Lorimer with it now, and the Islanders move it in behind their own goal. Lorimer dropped it there. LeBratton took it away. Tried to set up McCourt, but that's Harris taking it and shooting it out center ice. Reed Larson. Now it's Perry Miller. Miller lifting it back into the Islanders' zone. Smith stopped it to the side of the goal, fed it to Tonelli. In behind the net, it's Smith again, handing it off this time to Lorimer. Out at center ice, Bourne over on the right wing. That's Bossy, who would pass too far for him. And Greg Jolly went in after it. Now it'll be Jolly, number 24, playing his second game this season. Ahead now to Libet. Libet takes it in, fired the shot, and Smith grabbed it, lost it for the moment. Now feeds it off to Gerry Hart. Clark Gillies. Nick Libet, Bolduc, and Paul Woods for the Wings. Here's Gillies back into the Detroit zone. Clark Gillies trying to work around Jolly. Put it right to the goal mouth. And it was Woods that came in and swept it away. Willie Huber's pass out on the left side. Nick Libet tipped it away from Potvin. Took a good bump from Potvin. Played it in behind the Islanders' goal. That's Woods holding it in. Willie Huber's shot was blocked by Trottier. He grabbed Trottier, and the referee way down the ice has called the penalty on Huber. And Willie Huber is going to go off. And while he does, we'll pause for this message. Well, the Islanders, who've been a strong power play team, now have that opportunity. One of the reasons they are strong, Sid, is because Mike Bossy has 17 goals on the power play. Trotier's at center ice, and Gillies on the right side. That's Stefan Persson back at the line, playing it behind Denis Potvin. And it bounced back to the Islander blue line. Huber went off for holding with the time of the penalty, 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Puck driven down the ice by Tommy Bergman. Libet and Woods, penalty killers with Harper and Bergman for Detroit. They've used up 20 seconds of Huber's penalty time. Now Persson, number 7 of the Islanders, lifting it into the air, bouncing it into the corner, but Trottier had gone in too quickly, and the play is offside and will come right back out center ice. Super 6 Tire Center brings you moments to remember. Who was the only player to ever score 6 goals in a single game for the Detroit Red Wings? We'll have the answer for you just a bit later in the telecast. Dale McCourt comes out with Saint Laurent now as penalty killers up front for the Wings. McCourt will go in against Trottier right at center ice. Now it's Denis Potvin. Potvin firing it in off to the side of the net. Stopped there by Vachon. He flayed it over along the boards for Saint Laurent. Puck came to the line, but Bossy held it in there. Here's Mike Bossy trying to move into position. Played it back to Persson. On the left point, now it's Potvin. Potvin put it out in front. They score!
Mike Bossy. Just a little turn in on a perfect pass across. He was out of the slot. He just put it inside the corner over Vachon's glove, and that ties a National League record with both Bathgate and Hull, the 10th straight game this boy has scored goals, and his 49th of the season. A pass from Persson across the point. Now a little dump pass by Potvin into Bossy, and he just changed directions. Rogie Vachon got a part of it with his glove and tipped it down in underneath. It was just a little flip shot, a change direction shot. Perfect pass, perfect deflection.
I think Vachon got a piece of it.
The crowd gave him a standing ovation.
So Bossy now has scored in 10 straight games to tie a National Hockey League record. I believe that Vachon actually had a piece of that with the glove.
He did, and then
flexed it down,
dropped off his glove.
Now they take it into the corner, jam it in along the boards there, and it's held, and the face-off will be to the left of the Detroit net. It was Bossy from Potvin and Persson at 4:54 with Willie Huber in the penalty box. The only penalty served thus far.
And it was the first shot they had during that power play. They are a team that one of the most potent, although the Wings still lead the league in power play goals.
Puck sent back to the blue line. Persson took a shot. That's loose out in front. Digging after it, the Islanders clear it into the corner. Jammed in behind the boards, going in after it, J.P. LeBlanc. LeBlanc played it out to center ice as Gerry Hart comes back after it. Gerry Hart back along his own blue line, handing it to Persson, and back it comes to Hart. The Islanders moving it out now to center ice. Dumped ahead, McKendry failed to get to it. It goes now to J.P. LeBlanc deep in the Detroit zone. He cleared it to Hogabaum. Billy Hogabaum moving out. Nedemansky and Miller with him over the line. Here's the pass for Miller to Nedemansky with a shot, and Smith went low, blocked that, and doggone nearly missed it.
Bruce, we've often talked about getting the puck away in a hurry, and this is one reason why Nedemansky does score goals. He takes a perfect pass, and the minute it hits his stick, he gets it away. It wasn't that hard a shot, but just the fact that he surprised the goaltender by shooting it before he really handles the puck. And Smith just about missed it.
Smith went after it with his stick and ended up kneeling on it. We've played 6 minutes of the first period. 1-0. Islanders on the power play goal by Bossy. Now Denis Potvin in behind his own goal, clearing it out on the right side. That's Bob Bourne at center ice. He's checked by Saint Laurent. And going in offside on the delayed call was Carroll, and now they do whistle it down. They'll bring it back out over the New York line. And taking a look at Willie Huber. Hey, hockey fans, let's turn this break in the action into a refreshment break. Simply say, I'd rather Vernors. Remember, whatever you do, don't get caught with your Vernors down. Last night, Philadelphia Flyers defeated Colorado 5-3. Minnesota and Atlanta played a 2-2 tie, the only 2 games played. Red Wings and Colorado Rockies meet tomorrow at Olympia Stadium, 7 o'clock. Colorado is the only team not scheduled for the National Hockey League game today. All the other 16 teams playing. Now this is Greg Jolly. Jolly flipped the long shot. Smith handled, played it off now to Potvin. Denis Potvin in behind his own goal. Potvin and Bob Lorimer paired along the defense. A long shot coming out center ice. Willie Huber stopped that. Waited for Carroll to come back on side, then sent it in, and Tonelli dumped Huber as he let go of the puck. Now Tonelli goes after it. John Tonelli's pass ahead now to Bourne, over on the right side to Billy Harris. Harris turning with it. Played it over the line into the Detroit zone. Greg Jolly heads back after it. Played it along the boards on the right side, and it's Polonic who tipped it ahead. Going after it is Carroll. He's got Saint Laurent with him, and the pass is way out in front of Saint Laurent. They dig it in along the boards in the corner, and it's held there. No whistle yet as the referee lets them play it out. They don't do it, and so the face-off stays to the right of the Islander net. Detroit coming out now with Paul Woods, Nick Libet, and it'll be Dan Bolduc on the other wing. The only goal scored, that by Mike Bossy on the power play from Potvin and Persson at 4:54. As you look at the Detroit bench. Played 7 minutes of the first period. Persson goes in behind his own net for New York. Now Stefan Persson clearing it ahead. That's Dave Lewis with it. He got it over the line, and at center ice, Garry Howatt. Howatt firing it right back into the Detroit zone. In behind the Red Wing goal, Vachon out on the right side for Dan Bolduc. Bolduc got it to center ice, and that's all. The Islanders take over there. Persson has a little problem with it, goes back after it. Now it's Lewis again, handing it off to Persson, bringing his way out center ice. Here's Lewis again. Lewis lifting it off the glass in the corner in the Detroit zone. Libet went in after it, failed to work it out. That's Merrick with it. Wayne Merrick bumped in along the boards by Tommy Bergman. The puck came loose for Nystrom. Bergman tipped it away from him, but Howatt will go in after it. Garry Howatt of the Islanders took a bump from Harper. Harper dug the puck away. Bolduc slides it out center ice, and the Islanders have to come back onside. Lewis played it deeper into his own zone for Persson, ahead now to Merrick. It came right back to Persson in the Islanders' end. Now it's Lewis with it, and Dave Lewis cleared it out center ice for Garry Howatt. Howatt made his move away from Woods, dumped it into the Detroit zone, and in behind his own goal, Nick Libet. Libet playing it ahead on the right wing now to Bolduc. Here's Bolduc with Woods on the left side. The two of them over the line. Bolduc around Hart. Took a weak backhander, and the save was made by Smith. Harper held it in. Played it in behind the net. Going in after it was Woods. He failed to get to it. It came back and got away from Harper. Slides back into the Detroit zone. Now Harper turning at his own blue line ahead to Paul Woods. Woods lifted it into the Islanders' end, and Denis Potvin knocks it down there. That's Mike Bossy with it. He dropped it off for Trottier. Brian Trottier. Played it back now to Gerry Hart trying to cut through. Trottier was hauled down. The play continues in the Detroit zone, and it's Paul Woods who got it loose but didn't get it out. It ended up in the crowd off an Islander player. And they'll come out over the Detroit blue line for the faceoff.
Bruce, and the fact that Mike Bossy scored their goal to tie the record of Hull and Bathgate 10 straight games, and within one of setting even an old-time record, he has scored 100 goals faster than any player in the history of the National League. 5 games earlier than Rocket Richard did, the former Montreal great. He scored 100 goals 5 games sooner than Richard did, and that's just unbelievable.
Except that I'm trying to think that I believe Richard didn't play that long a first season, did he? I don't believe he had an 80-game season to start with.
No, there's no doubt he didn't.
Shot by Dale McCourt, kicked away by Smith, who came up with a good move there. Now the Islanders' Clark Gillies took it over the line into the Detroit zone. He was stopped. Perry Miller clears it ahead. Here's LeBratton with Nedemansky trailing. And LeBratton tried to go through by himself, and it's knocked away from him. The Islanders clear it out. That's Potvin, now to Bossy. Mike Bossy handed it off to Gillies, going in, and he lost control of it. Oh, Gillies cut right in, and the puck just slid off his stick, and Vachon covered up. And we'll be back in just a moment. There's Clark Gillies, who could have had the second goal in this hockey game, Sid.
Here's Mike Bossy. He not only scores goals, he makes perfect passes. He set up Gillies perfect. Gillies just lost the puck and slid right into Vachon. Vachon went down awful early on that play.
Now they hold the puck in the Detroit zone. With it is Gillies. Clark Gillies trying to move away from Woods' check. They jam it along the boards, went in behind the Detroit net, and Nick Libet is back after it. His pass broken out, and then Reed Larson takes it. Here now Dale McCourt. Libet on the left side. Nick Libet dropping it back for Perry Miller. He fires from center ice. Smith handles that easily. In behind his own net is Lewis. Dave Lewis of New York. The Islanders lead 1-0. Now it's Trottier. Trottier checked at center ice by Woods. Picked it up a second time. Goes digging into the Detroit end, into the corner. Woods bumped him in along the boards there. It's dug away by Bossy. Still a scramble along the boards, and that puck loose. Here's Gillies with it. His pass broken up by Libet. Now Nick Libet cleared it ahead for Reed Larson. He and Bolduc move out. Larson over the line, fired it wide of the net, goes into the corner after it. He and Lewis bump in along the boards there. Larson got it loose. It came out in front, but the Islanders cleared away. At center ice, LeBratton takes it. Dan LeBratton tried to move in by himself again. It came back to Larson. Reed Larson turned around with it, hands it off to Dale McCourt with a shot, and that deflected up into the crowd as Larson took a lot of time and wound up on it. You can win a $50 gift certificate in the Acme Red Wing prize drawing. Watch for today's winner between the first and second periods. Acme, where they have more, and they have it for less. Sid, you're talking about Bossy's. We look at Dan Bolduc and his record with Maurice the Rocket Richard, and I was trying to think you were talking 2 seasons, but you're talking total games played. So it took him 3 seasons, really, before he got his 100.
Bossy has scored now 102 goals in 131 regular season games. And when he scored his 100th just 2 games ago, it was 5 games sooner than even Rogie Vachon did in his first 130 games.
So he's quite a goal scorer. Play came out to center ice. Back after it, McKendry. He sets up Kaszycki. Kaszycki took the shot, and Vachon came out and stopped him, as Kaszycki was allowed to just slide right in.
Now there's just a case of a lapse by Detroit. It's little mistakes like this. Everybody is going towards the Islander net. The play is knocked down at center ice, and the pass is made back to Kaszycki, and the defense had been sucked out of position, moved up, and they weren't in position to try and stop Kaszycki, and Vachon had to come way out of his net and make a big save.
Now Gerry Hart out at center ice, hands it off there to Persson. 1-0. Islanders lead on the only power play goal, the only power play either team has had. Willie Huber cleared it out on the right side. It came back to the line. Gerry Hart a shot. Vachon kicked that out. Now here's LeBratton. Danny LeBratton and Netamansky. His pass on the right side. Too far for McCourt. And Hart goes in behind his own net. Cleared it out on the right side for Westfall. A good quick pass ahead to Kaszycki. Kaszycki and McKendry moving into the Detroit zone. It was broken up by Huber. Puck failed to work out. Here now the Islanders dangerous in the Detroit zone. McKendry played it in behind the net, brought right out to the side, and hitting the side of the goal, Kaszycki. McCourt played it off now to Willie Huber. Huber turning in behind his own goal. A right side pass to Netamansky. Big net into the Islanders zone with a shot that was blocked by Hart. Didn't get through, and Stefan Persson takes it in behind his own goal. 7:45 to go here in the first period. 1-0 Islanders. Puck bouncing into the Detroit end. Here going after it, Westfall. He's checked. It's loose out in front. Still loose. Sent right across open goal by Bourne. And Netamansky heads back with it. The Islanders came close. Now San Laurent trying to move in. The Wings are changing on the move. He was all alone. Here's Bob Bourne. Bourne on the right wing now to Harris. Billy Harris held up in the corner looking for somebody. Tony Bergman moved into him, and San Laurent takes it. He's bumped immediately by Bourne. They scrambled it along the boards after the puck. Tony Bergman sent it to the other corner. Polonich took a whack at it. Lewis held it in. Still it's loose in the Detroit zone. Tony Bergman. Now Bergman clearing it ahead to San Laurent. Andre San Laurent sending Harper out to center ice. Now Harper's pass off Polonich, picked up by Carroll. Carroll couldn't get through, and it's cleared ahead now for Bourne. Bob Bourne with Tonelli. Bourne was tied up by Harper, but here's Tonelli picking up the loose puck, putting it right out in front. Vachon kicked it away. He had it tangled up in the skates a bit. Now Denis Polonich moving his way back out center ice. Here's Polonich over the line. He dropped the puck though, and it was offside, but on the delayed call, the Islanders will bring it out. Denis Potvin turning. 6:20 to go. First period. 1-0 New York. Potvin worked into the Detroit zone. Went into the corner after it himself. Sent it back out to Harris. Harris fired it wide. Now Polonich moves out. Denis Polonich from center ice with a shot that deflected wide of the goal. Billy Harris failed to work it out. Paul Woods holds it in. Woods. He's checked right at the line. Libet battles to hold it in. They jam it in along the boards, and the face-off will take place inside the Islanders' line, and we'll be back after we pause now for this. New York Islanders lead the game on Mike Bossy's 49th goal of the season. The only penalty called against Willie Huber at 4:04, and it was 50 seconds later that Bossy scored. Now the Islanders have the play in their own zone. That's Bob Lorimer clearing it ahead to Merrick. Merrick turned around by Hogabaum. San Laurent held it in, took the shot, Smith the save, and cutting in. J.P. LeBlanc just failed to get to it. They play it out to center ice. Back after it, Hogabaum. He was dumped, got up, controlled it. Reed Larson holds it. Now Larson firing it into the corner in the Islander end. Going after it, Lorimer in behind his own goal. Out on the left side now for Howatt. That was broken up by Reed Larson. Libet goes digging in after it. Took a bump from Lorimer. Merrick failed to work it out. J.P. LeBlanc in the middle of it all, and they hold it. That's Hogabaum who was held along the boards, and the face-off to the right of the New York Islanders goal.
This is the closest Detroit come to scoring. St. Laurent does a little dipsy-do, walks around Big Persson back up with the puck, takes a shot. Smith fought this puck, dropped it, hit his pad, but J.P. LeBlanc couldn't find the handle.
So the face-off will take place to the right side of the New York goal. Woods won the draw. Libet sent it back for Jolly. He played it in behind the New York zone, and the Islanders play it out on the left wing now, and moving out is Howatt. At center ice, Merrick. Play broken up by Huber. Now it'll be Gerry Hart. Hart lifting it back into the Detroit end. A bouncing puck. Vachon handled that carefully, and the Wings shoot it out center ice. Little less than 5 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 New York. And the play into the Detroit end, offside. Well, there's more sports action coming your way when Michigan State meets Illinois tonight. Top Big Ten basketball coming up from TV 50, your sports station in Detroit.
Coach Al Arbor, one of the real good defensive coaches, well, one of the real good coaches in the National League. Very, very defensive-minded, a former defenseman with the Red Wings.
Going to be a little offensive-minded, too, with a team that scored 262 goals.
Well, they are leading the league in goals, but he is strictly a gentleman that coaches defensive hockey, and he has this club throwing the puck around terrific, moving the puck, everybody moving into position.
Now this is defenseman Dave Lewis into the Detroit zone. Clark Gillies with a shot. That blocked by Huber. He got a rebound and sent it wide. Bossy plays it back to the line now. This is Trottier with it. Trottier handing it to Bossy. Right out in front, he scores. And so he's got his 50th goal. And a 2-0 Islander lead in the whole New York bench empties. And they come out to congratulate their second-year man. And now in his first 2 years has scored 50 goals.
It's just amazing. It's amazing the way they throw this puck around, though. Trottier, Gillies misses it on a chance. Puck goes over to Trottier. Trottier moves it into Bossy, and Bossy, as he tried to come around the corner, here's Persson into Trottier. Trottier to Bossy now. There's Bossy as he moves out. Rogie beats him, but the puck come right back out, hit his skates, and then he put it in the empty side. Just an unbelievable goal scorer. Trottier should get most of the credit here, though, Bruce, because he really passes the puck around. A little bit of luck connected with that, though, too, because Vachon knocked it right back out to him, hit his skate, come right back on his stick, and he put it in the net.
I tell you, he made no mistakes with it, though, so he's got the second goal. Trottier and Potvin assisting at 15:32. Danny LeBratton with a shot, and looking behind him, Smith couldn't find the puck because he'd made the save and didn't know it. Now it's Gillies playing it into the corner, going after it Lewis. The opposite corner, Potvin has it there. Smith actually was looking into the net. He thought he'd lost it. Coming back now is Lewis. Lewis shot it into the Detroit zone. Going in is Gillies. Gillies being checked by Dale McCourt. McCourt tied him up. Bossy put it out in front, but Huber cleared it on the left side, and LeBratton just couldn't get to it. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first period. Islanders lead it 2-0. Now Rogie Vachon lost it to Trottier out in front. Here's Persson with a shot. That was knocked down by Huber, and coming out now is Nedomansky. Here's Nedomansky over the line. His shot deflected to the corner, and Persson will take it there. Now Stefan Persson lifted it into the Detroit end. Heading after it, Tommy Bergman. He was checked by Westfall. Westfall went down. Bergman led it ahead, but Hart will hold it in. McKendry and Tommy Bergman hold it in along the boards. McKendry can control, though. Got it to Kaszycki. Now Kaszycki being checked. Still that puck bounced to the boards, and they hold it for a face-off, and we'll be back in a moment. Well, between the first and second periods, a big, likable guy, Willie Huber, will be joining Sid Abel. Complete honesty already has, as Sid and Willie talked just the other day, and the conversation tape recorded so that you can take a look at it between our first and second periods here from this telecast of the Nassau Coliseum in New York. The Islanders lead the hockey game by a score of 2-0. Now the Wings moving it out center ice. Here is Billy Hogabaum. He whistled a shot. That went wide. After his own rebound, he fired it. And Smith stopped that as Hogabaum. He's had 2 goals in his 5 games with the Wings. They hold it into the corner. That's McKendry, who is still shoving it along the boards. Finally, San Laurent went after him. Polonich got it loose. That Persson cleared it out on the right side. Westfall sends it in behind his own goal again. Gerry Hart. Now Hart handing it off to Persson, who comes out center ice. Stefan Persson Dumping it into the corner in the Detroit end. Polonich goes back after it. Kaszycki tipped it away. Billy Hogabaum covering up. He's hit by McKendry, but moving out Polonich. Denis Polonich's pass now to Saint Laurent. Bounced off of him. Picking it up, Gerry Hart, who drives it back out center ice. 2-0 on 2 goals by Bossy. Here in the first period, the Islanders lead it. Play comes back into the Detroit end, and Bolduc swinging off to the side of his own goal. Drops it now for Tony Bergman. Left wing pass for Libet, the Red Wing captain, at center ice. Now Libet fired it off to the side of the New York net, but the Wings are making a player change, and nobody moved in. Pass too far out in front of Bourne. Perry Miller drops it off for Libet. Libet's pass. Reed Larson couldn't get to it, but he moved in and knocked it away from Harris. Paul Woods playing it ahead now to Larson. The shot from the blue line. Smith grabs that. Wings have had some scoring chances. Potvin in behind his own goal. Denis Potvin. He holds it there, waiting for somebody to move. Still holding it. Now cleared it ahead to Bourne. Woods moved in, knocked it away, but Bourne covered up. Now this is Lorimer moving out with a minute to go in the period. Lorimer drives it off to the side of the Detroit net. Reed Larson played it over on the left wing. Libet left it there for Paul Woods, and his pass broken up by Denis Potvin. Shot back into the Detroit end. Larson back to cover up. Swinging in behind Vachon. Now a good pass from Libet, picked up by Woods. On the right side, Bolduc. Bolduc over the line, fired that shot. Smith knocks it away. Lorimer being chased by Woods. Lorimer controls. Now this is Denis Potvin with a half a minute to go in the first period. Tonelli. Bob Bourne. Bourne moved away from Miller's check into the Detroit zone. Bourne playing it in behind the Detroit net. Vachon stops it there for LeBratton. Danny LeBratton was stopped by Nystrom. Now this is Bolduc with 12 seconds to go. Bolduc's pass stopped right at the line by Wayne Merrick, and the Islanders turn back. Nystrom trying to cut through. Goes to the corner after it. 5 seconds. Now this is Netamansky. He's going to have to hurry. 1 second. He'll not get a shot away as the buzzer goes to end the first period. A first period in which the Detroit Red Wings fall behind 2-0 on 2 goals. Record setters by Mike Bossy. His 49th of the year, and the only power play that either team had in the period at .454, assisted by Potvin and Persson. And then Bossy got his 10th, or rather his 50th goal of the season by Trottier and Potvin again at 15:32. Bossy's first goal, his 49th of the year, was his 10th straight goal. That is in 10 consecutive hockey games, and ties the National Hockey League record. He ties 2 pretty good hockey players, Andy Bathgate and Bobby Hull. So he's 1 away from setting the National Hockey League modern record for that. So the shots on goal in the first period, believe it or not, the Red Wings had 10 and the Islanders 7. In the end of the first period with a score, New York 2, Detroit nothing. Well, the Red Wings trail a hockey game 2-0. The only penalty in that first period was picked up by the Red Wing rookie defenseman Willie Huber. And that's when Bossy scored his first goal, the first goal of the hockey game. But Willie Huber's having himself quite a season. He got a slow start, and so the Wings sent him down to the farm club in Kansas City, and Willie worked hard there, came back, and since that time he has been perhaps one of the most steady defensemen in the Red Wings, with 6 goals and 19 assists all told in the 47 games that he has played. And just the other day, Sid had an opportunity to talk to Willie Huber. Sid talked to Willie about his first year experiences in the National Hockey League.
Willie, Detroit's #1 draft pick, playing your first year in the National League, the heaviest guy in the National League. Are you having any problems at all adjusting, say, from junior to the hockey here?
I don't think so now. We played, what, 5 months, 6 months in the schedule, and at first in September, October, I was having a little trouble getting my speed and concentrating more on the forwards. Like in junior, they're a little bit slower, they weren't as strong, but now I feel that with those 6 months experience in the NHL, I can move around a little quicker and take them out more effectively.
All right, you played in probably the smallest arena in junior hockey in Hamilton. Have you noticed a difference between coming from a small arena to a larger arena?
I don't know. I like playing on a bigger ice because I'm kind of bigger than most guys, and I get more room to move out in a bigger ice, but in the smaller surface, the guys can pin me down more in our own end and in the offensive zone.
Now, I'm going to ask a question. You're scoring goals with your shot from the point. Were you a goal scorer in junior hockey?
Not really. I scored 12, 15 goals and had a few in the playoffs and that, but mostly I used to set up, I used to have 50, 55 assists in junior, and mostly I used to set up the guys in the power play and let them have the better chance to shoot the puck than myself.
After starting here, General Manager Ted Lindsay and Bobby Crom decided to send you back down to Kansas City for a short time. A lot of kids, when they're sent down their first year, feel that, boy, maybe the end of the world has arrived. Did this bother you at all in any way?
Oh, when they first told me, I felt really disheartened about going down, but I figured it could be in the best of in my opinion, to go down, because I was hurt for a while. I had a sore back. I wasn't playing. I wasn't practicing. So Bobby and Teddy talked to me about going down in Kansas City for 2 weeks, and I went down, and Larry Wilson worked pretty hard with me. I was playing all the time, power play, penalty killing, and every second shift. And I found it helped me a lot coming back here in the club.
All right, coming back to the club, you have been used with, Tommy Bergman. You've played with Harper. Do you find that any one player that you can adjust to easier than the other?
I don't know. When you play in a national hockey league like this, defensemen out here are pretty experienced, and they can play either way. So I found it pretty easy to adjust to Harper or Bergman or Miller anytime at all.
Any club. Now, when you were first drafted, did you have a club in mind that you would probably prefer to go to?
Well, at first, in the early part of my junior year, I didn't know where I was going to be drafted to, but I thought about Boston a lot, and I talked to Harry Sinden, and Boston scouts were trying to talk to me about going to Boston, but later on in the year, towards the playoffs, I talked to General Manager Ted Lindsay and Bobby Crom in the playoffs, and they expressed a lot of interest in me and tried to take me in the first pick, and as it worked out, they had me in the draft in June.
All right, have you given any thought at all to the Rookie of the Year? Here you're a big fellow playing your first year. I have a couple names. Ron Walter, I think, playing for Washington, is having a terrific year. A boy in Bobby Smith, no doubt you played junior hockey against him, Bobby Smith and Minnesota North Stars. And I think you're in the running too, Willie.
No, I don't think so. These guys are goal scorers, and they get more exposure by big forwards and scoring more goals. I think my job mainly in Detroit is to play defense and not be the flashy hockey player like these other two fellows. And, I think Wayne Babbage wasn't hurt. I think he'd be a runaway for it. And the Rookie of the Year, he had 42 points, whatever he had, and he's just starting to play for last night. I think his first game, whatever. I think between those three guys, they're going to be the top 3 picks for their Calder Cup, whatever it's called, and I'm not going to worry about it at all.
All right, there has been talk that because of your size, there was little concern whether you'd be rough enough here in the National League, that you were kind of an easygoing junior. Lately, you feel pretty well at ease, I think, out there, because you're running into people all night long.
Well, I think, in junior hockey, I never had to use my muscle at all. We had guys on our team like Tim Koulis and Al Secord. Well, Al Secord plays for Boston now. They were our tough guys, and my job back then was to play hockey, not to be the rough guy, and I usually work better with the puck than going out gooning other guys. And I feel this year, with our hockey club, we got a lot of small guys. I think they can handle themselves, but sometimes I guess it's my duty to go out there and start using my body a little bit more.
Willie, thanks ever so much for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much, Sid.
Now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
Our guest will receive a Sony AM/FM table radio. It has an extremely high power output, bass, treble, and volume control, direct speaker coupling, and drift-free FM reception. It's an ICF 9580W. It's a Sony. After one period of play from here at the Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders 2, the Detroit Red Wings nothing, and will return to Long Island. Chester from here in our telecast location over the ice surface of the Nassau Coliseum, which has seen one period of hockey this afternoon, and in that period, Mike Bossy, who's been talked about a good deal in the last few minutes, has scored his 49th and 50th goals, and the Islanders lead the game 2-0. So that's it. New York 2, Detroit nothing, and we'll return for the start of the second period in just a moment. Pesky's Great American Hot Dogs are being featured this week at all Great Scott and Oakland Food Town stores. Well, we mentioned a little earlier in our telecast the Acme Sporting Goods Award to be announced between periods, and that's what we're doing right now. And the winner of the $50 gift certificate today is Michael Spoon out of Birmingham, Michigan. So, Michael, you can call 895-7000 and find out how you go about collecting your certificate. We have played 20 minutes of hockey here at the Nassau Coliseum with Mike Bossy scoring twice, the first one on the power play. The only penalty of the first period served by Willie Huber, and Bossy scored while he was off, and then he got his second 4.5 minutes before the end of the period at 15:32. Potvin and Persson, the 2-point men, assisted on the first one, the power play goal, and then it was Trottier and Potvin at 15:32 with Bossy's 50th on the year. Rogie Vachon in the Detroit goal, and the Islanders' Billy Smith in the New York net. He stopped all 10 shots fired in his direction in the first period. Well, it was Smith that shut out the Red Wings in a game played at Olympia Stadium, Sid, back the 17th of December. He's a pretty good one.
Yes, they have good goaltending. Both Resch and Smith have been strong all year long. They are a well-balanced hockey club. Kaszycki's not considered a real good hockey player, but he does his job. And it doesn't matter who's on the ice. They seem to be able to go up and down, throw the puck around, and get scoring opportunities.
Well, the second period underway. The play goes in behind the New York net. That's Bossy out on the right side. Checked by Tony Bergman. LeBlanc dug the puck loose. Put it off to the side of the net. But Hart covers up there. Now Gillies hands it right back to Gerry Hart. Back to Gillies. Moving out center ice. He cleared it into the Detroit zone with Bossy moving in. Vachon held it and played it now to Tony Bergman. Bergman right out in front of his own goal. The puck was tipped away. Hogebaum got there first. Handed it back to Bergman. Now right side pass to J.P. LeBlanc. He lost it, intercepted. Here's Bossy, and he sent it right over the top of the goal. And Gerry Hart collided with Vachon, and the net was lifted off the pin.
The opportunist, Mr. Bossy, just a play that was just a bad pass in the Wings' own zone. And as the Wings are moving out, Mr. Bossy realized that he could get in by himself, and he just come in and he tried to deflect the game the way he scored his first goal, but he put this one up over the top of the net, and Terry Harper and his anxiety to get back, he collided with Vachon, knocked Vachon down, and of course just lodged the net. You know, it's surprising how the Red Wing Forum Club follow the club. We have Bonnie, Joanne, and Rick are here from the Red Wing Forum Club, and Karen Root, Claudia Jones, Dave Tuttle are all here from Detroit. Karen wants to say hi to Jack O'Neill, the hockey friend.
Okay, now from the face-off, the play stays in the Detroit zone. Greg Jolly, number 24, goes in with Merrick. Puck over to the right side. This is Willie Huber. Huber's pass, lifted out center ice. Potvin lost it. Here's LeBratton going in alone. Danny LeBratton right, and he scores! And it's now 2-1 on a mistake by Denis Potvin, who slams a stick to the ice. And LeBratton made no mistakes.
LeBratton makes no mistake on this. It's a long pass out by Huber that's knocked down by Potvin right at center ice. And as he knocks it down, he knocked it right into LeBratton. LeBratton pulls over. I thought he possibly took the angle away from himself, but he beat him on the short side, and this puts Detroit right back in the game.
So it's 2-1 as Danny LeBratton gets his 10th goal, an unassisted goal at 59 seconds, and this is a new ball game. Here now, Wayne Merrick moving out center ice. That's Howatt clearing it off the boards in behind the Detroit net, and it was an elbow thrown by Nystrom, landed on LeBratton, and I believe the Islander player Nystrom is going to go off as he threw a couple elbows. Here's LeBratton.
LeBratton, he goes to his right, and surprisingly, he still got enough angle. Smith didn't get over to cover it, and he just put it over his big glove. I would think on a play like that, he'd have been better off if he'd stayed out more in the front of the net, but the big thing is he did score, and it makes the Wings right back in, and now with a penalty, it just gives the Wings a chance. They can probably tie this up.
Well, they've given LeBratton a penalty, too.
Now, I missed LeBratton's altogether. I thought it was just Nystrom.
117.
Well, now Nystrom was throwing the elbow around, but referee Greg Medill waved LeBratton off for hooking, so the time of the penalties, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Each team will play short a man. Wings have not had a power play chance in the hockey game, and the Islanders have had one, and they scored on it. This is Reed Larson, 2-1. New York leads. Reed Larson turning again at center ice, still in control of that puck, brings it over the line into the New York zone, then just flipped the shot that Smith has no trouble with. Dave Lewis off to the side of his own net. He played it behind Denis Potvin. Potvin goes back after it. Now to Lewis. This is Dave Lewis bringing it out center ice, dumping it into the Detroit end. Larson going back after it. He tipped it away from Harris, played it into the other corner, and Willie Huber has it there. Now Huber starting back. Off now to Dale McCourt to Nedemansky. Nedemansky faked the shot, and Potvin just moved in, took it away from him. Denis Potvin, he was checked once, and then the play went into the Detroit end offside. And they'll come back out over the Detroit blue line. There's Denis Potvin.
You know, and while he made the mistake from the Wings goal, he is still one of the best defensemen.
Oh. Hurry to your nearest Super 6 Tire Center, where you can save on 4-ply Pauley Blackwall snow tires, any size through H, 2 for $59. New York Islanders lead the Wings 2-1. We've played just a touch more than 2 minutes of the second period. Paul Woods and Nick Libett, the two Detroit forwards now, with Miller and Larson. This is Gerry Hart. Hart clearing it into the Detroit zone. Vachon hands it off now to Nick Libett. Here's Libett. His pass coming out to Miller. Miller played it off his skate. It came out center ice. Gerry Hart handing it now to Westfall. Eddie Westfall back to Lorimer. He put it right on the stick of Miller. Miller's pass, and Larson failed to get to it, but it was Woods that made the check on Kaszycki that broke that up. Now Miller starts Larson out. Reed, Larson, and Libett. Here's Libett over the line. Libett with a backhand shot. It's knocked away by the goaltender Smith. Taken out by Woods. He's checked back to the net by Lorimer. Now Bob Lorimer with it. Lorimer clearing it out to Westfall with Kaszycki ahead of him. Kaszycki takes it over the line. Larson tipped that away. Reed Larson cleared it out center ice. Defenseman Bob Lorimer with it there. And now Gerry Hart, Lorimer. Each team short a man for 15 seconds. Here now Lorimer over the line into the Detroit zone. Kaszycki got through and Vachon stopped him. Coming back, Nick Libett. 5 seconds remaining in the penalties. Larson has trouble with Westfall. It's still loose. Libett covered up, whacked it out center ice. Penalties are over. LeBratton and Nystrom back on. Puck tipped back into his own zone by Trottier. Westfall played it behind Gerry Hart. Greg Carroll chasing him, but here's Lorimer with it. Now Lorimer ahead to Westfall, moving out center ice. Into the Detroit zone. He failed to work by Miller. The play stays in the Detroit end. St. Laurent tipped it away. Now Miller starts Denis Potvin out. He's got Huber trailing. Potvin fired the shot. Smith sent it high off the glass. Potvin went digging in after it, but it went into the corner, and Westfall shot it out center ice. Trottier and Nystrom. Nystrom over the line. Nystrom with a shot, and Tony Bergman deflected it high up into the crowd. We've played 4 minutes, and we'll be back in just a moment.
All the new MC cars for
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Marvin Muse. I'm here at the Nassau Coliseum, where the Detroit Red Wings trail by a goal. New York 2, Detroit 1. Trottier, Gillies, and Bossy is the forward line now for New York, with Potvin and Lewis back along the defense. And the Wings have Dale McCourt, Woods, and Libett. McCourt is there to take the face-off. Puck came right back into the circle, and finally Tommy Bergman will take it in behind his own goal. Now handing it to Dale McCourt, and Tommy Bergman moves it out center ice. Bergman's pass to Huber. Huber dumped a long shot along the ice, an easy save for Smith. Denis Potvin in behind his own goal. Now here's Trottier moving out, dropping it back for Potvin. Potvin's pass to Gillies into the Detroit end. Played it in behind the Red Wing net. It bounced away from Vachon. Bossy handed it off to Trottier, and it was Huber that moved in and made the play on Bossy. Here, though, is Bossy digging it away again, putting it out in front, and again Huber. That time, Tommy Bergman knocked it off. It came back into the Islanders' zone. Picked up now by Trottier. Woods chasing him. Over the line is Lewis. Lewis trying to go through, and it was Bossy that tipped it away. They hold it in along the boards, off to the left side of Vachon. And it's St. Laurent who comes out with it. Andre St. Laurent, his pass. Woods tipped it out to center ice. Dave Lewis cleared it back into the Detroit zone. Trottier drove a shot wide. St. Laurent tipped it again to the center ice zone. Denis Potvin shooting it back into the Detroit end. Vachon cleared it along the boards. Tommy Bergman. Now Bergman ahead to St. Laurent. Came back to Bergman. Played 5.5 minutes of the second period. 2-1, New York leads. Gerry Hart, right side pass to Nystrom. Now that's Wayne Merrick, number 11 for the Islanders, who cleared it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Vachon played it away from Nystrom. Howatt, though, got it to Nystrom. He hit the side of the net with it. Larson cleared it over on the left wing, and J.P. LeBlanc sends it back into the New York end. Back after it, Gerry Hart. Hart goes in behind his own goal. Now this is Persson. Being chased by J.P. LeBlanc. Cleared it out center ice. It bounced off the stick of Larson. Miller will come back after it. Perry Miller handing it now to Larson. Larson lost it. That's Howatt, and he failed to get to it as Miller covered up. Now he has Hogebaum over on the right side. That's Denis Potvin. Potvin took a shot wide and off the boards. Back out center ice, Miller. Barry Miller handing it to Larson. He wound up, drilled a long shot again wide. Hogabaum will hold it in. Billy Hogabaum should have, but didn't. It came out center ice, and Miller shot it in offside. We shall be back in just a moment. Well, the face-off to the left of the Detroit net. This is Billy Harris cutting right in front, but it's knocked off his stick, and picking it up is Terry Harper. He played it ahead. LeBreton took a bump, and back after it now is Bob Bourne. Nick Libet was injured in the play just previous to this. We'll get into that a little bit more. Here's Bourne with a shot. It's deflected over the top of the goal. Harper took it off the boards, cleared it not out. That's Tonelli, the puck right to Vachon, and he held on to it. Rogie Vachon made the good move there as he closed the door on the left side of that net.
And I'm sure Nick Libet is all right, Bruce. He went over, he was holding his ear. I believe he probably got a high deflection of a puck back about 2 or 3 minutes ago. He went over to the bench. Lefty Wilson looked at him, but he's sitting there ready to take his regular shift again.
Well, the Islanders that time were dangerous. Quick change on the Red Wing defense now. Jolly and Huber come out. The Wings have McCourt up front with LeBreton and Nedemansky. That's Greg Jolly, cleared it ahead to LeBreton. We're bumping into LeBreton now. Harris gave him a jolt. Puck back into the New York end. Billy Smith cleared it into the corner. Now this is Denis Potvin. LeBreton took another bump from Harris. He's given him a little working over. Now they play it still in the New York zone. Potvin will chase it back at his own goal. Denis Potvin turning around. Potvin away from Nedemansky. Good move out now to center ice. Here's Denis Potvin over the line. He played it off to Bourne. Bourne was dumped, and the Wings shoot it back into the New York zone. 2-1, the Islanders lead it. We have played 7 minutes, 40 seconds of the second period. McCourt knocked it away. It's cleared in behind the New York end, and Potvin goes back after it. Now Denis Potvin out on the right side. This is Harris over the line into the Detroit zone. And Jolly knocked it away from him. The puck's still loose. And moving out now, Nedemansky. Here's the pass on the left wing to LeBreton. He's got Lorimer in front of him. LeBreton trying to go around and couldn't do it. Puck driven into the corner by the goaltender Smith. And they hold it along the boards. A face-off will be in the circle to the right of the New York goal. Kaszycki's Great American Hot Dogs are being featured this week at all Great Scott and Oakland Food Town stores.
You know, Danny LeBreton is playing a very strong hockey game. I think Coach Bobby Crom at times has been a little disappointed with his defensive play. The fact that he played his hockey probably over in Sweden. There's a lot of players run at him, but he's mixing it with everybody out there today.
Paul Woods now with Libet and Bolduc to play in the New York zone. Puck stayed right there in the circle. Sent off to the side of the net. And Smith fired it over on the left side. It got away from McKendry. Reed Larson with a shot. Smith deflects that away. Now Dave Lewis cleared it down the ice. They waved off the icing. So Vachon moved out to stop it, and Larson will come back to play it. Larson clearing it out on the right wing for Bolduc. Danny Bolduc ahead to Libet. Libet, rink-wide pass, taken at his own blue line by Perry Miller. Miller gives it now to Reed Larson. Larson charges over the line, tried to go through, couldn't do it, and Bolduc overskated it. Kaszycki starts back for New York. It bounced away from Westfall, but the Wings failed to get to it. Now that's Persson. He handed it off to Kaszycki. Here's a chance for Westfall. And Vachon tipped that away. They take it in along the boards. Kaszycki dug it loose, being checked by Perry Miller. And still, that puck held to the boards in the Detroit zone. Referee is going to let them play out of it if they can. Finally decides they can and stops it. So we shall be back after we pause now for this message. Well, the Red Wings are going to be in action again next Saturday, and we'll be on hand to bring you the game live from the Forum in Montreal. The Wings and the Montreal Canadiens, Saturday, 8 o'clock, TV 50. Quick shot by Lorimer, sailed over the top of the Detroit goal. Denis Potvin takes it off the boards. Clears it now to Saint Laurent. That's Billy Hogabaum. He's knocked to the ice by Potvin, and the play went into the New York end offside. You know, the one matchup we haven't really had in the hockey game tonight nor today, and normally we see a great deal of, is Denis Potvin and Garry Howatt, two young guys who like to go at it, Sid. They've not been opposing each other out here tonight.
And they're both about the same size. And they played junior hockey together. They just really move along. Hogebaum gets hit pretty good here by Potvin right out in center ice. Billy Hogebaum gives the Wings more speed. He can really pick them up and lay them down, and if he scores goals, and it appears though he may do that, he's got 2 goals in the first 5 games, could help them.
Now on a delayed offside, the Wings have the play in their own zone, and finally the linesman Matt Pavlich whistles it down. Well, we were talking to Matt just before the start of this hockey game today as he walked into the building. And he is officiating in his 1,700th National Hockey League game. That is a long time and a lot of ice time.
That's a lot of times they have to sit down and put those skates on and lace them up, I'll tell you that. But he's been around an awful long time. He's done a real good job in the National League.
Koche chasing it in, handed it off to Bossy, but Tommy Bergman knocked it away from him. Andre Saint-Laurent was checked by Gillies. It comes back to Bergman. Clearing it now to Harper. Now that's Greg Carroll with it. He was dumped as he tried to move over the line, and they're going to give a penalty for this, a tripping call. And the Islanders don't like the call, but the Red Wings are going to have their first power play chance now. We'll be back to see what they do with it after we pause for this message.
Bob Lorimer getting a penalty, Bruce. It was a little on the cheap side. I thought he got his stick into the feet of Carroll more than he got his knee. They called it kneeing, and it gives the Wings another opportunity to their first power play chance. He gets his hip, and I would say a pretty good check.
I didn't see any knee, but anyway, the Red Wings have their first power play chance of the hockey game now. It's only the second power play chance either team has had. The Islanders scored on their one. Wings fail to hold it at the blue line. Willie Huber back after it, giving it now to Reed Larson at the Detroit line. Larson turns away from Bob Bourne's check, cleared it now to Dale McCourt. McCourt played it way behind LeBratton. And Bourne then missed Westfall with a pass. Here's McCourt going back in with Nedemansky. LeBratton, Danny LeBratton right out in front, and Nedemansky, a wide open goal, and that puck bounced over his stick. Big chance on a pretty play. Now Westfall firing it off to the side of the Detroit net. That's Bob Bourne with it. And Bourne is going to play it all the way back out, and here's Persson with it. Well, Nedemansky could have tied the hockey game, but the pass just bounced high at his stick. Westfall couldn't get to it at center ice. LeBratton has it. Dan LeBratton turning at his own blue line. Nedemansky into the Islander zone. He dropped it off for Reed Larson. Larson was checked. The Islanders take a swing at it. It comes out to Gerry Hart. Westfall down the right side. It bounces into the Detroit end with Willie Huber back after it. 55 seconds left in the penalty. Now Reed Larson turns in deep in behind Vachon. 2-1, New York leads. Wings have an extra man for 45 seconds. Dale McCourt. Now it's Nedemansky into the New York zone. His pass broken up. Coming out of the bench was Tommy Bergman, and they're going to say he played it too quickly, and the Red Wings are going to be called for having an extra man on the ice. As Bergman just jumped out of the Detroit bench, immediately played the puck. And the other Red Wing player, Reed Larson, I believe it was just going in.
And talk about Lorimer getting a cheap penalty. I think this is a cheap one, too. The Wings, the play was right over in front of us where a player got out on the ice and was in the play. It was a player coming off, and Bergman jumped. And I believe it was Matt Pavlich who called the penalty.
The linesman did call it. Well, Larson had taken himself completely out of the play. He was just a step away from the door, and Tony Bergman had taken 2 strides out. J.P. LeBlanc is really giving an argument to Matt Pavlich down there. I have seen that played 100 times in hockey.
Yes.
And never been called like that.
Probably 100 times this season, and it's never been called, but they elected to call it now.
Great Carroll.
Well, Carroll goes in to serve the penalty. And Al Arbor behind the Islanders bench, I think realizes he got a little break there. Now Nystrom cleared it in behind his own goal. Potvin goes in after it. Denis Potvin clearing it ahead. It's over on the right side to Nystrom. Each team short a man. Nystrom took the shot, sailed over the top of the goal. Hogebaum scooped it in behind his own goal, handed it off to Miller. It bounced away from him. Played back toward the line for Denis Potvin. Now this is Dave Lewis with a shot. Vachon knocked that away with a great move. J.P. LeBlanc heading back with Hogebaum. The pass to Hogebaum went off him right to Potvin. Now this is Lewis again moving out, and Lorimer is back on. The Islanders have the extra man. Billy Hogebaum chases it back into his own zone. 1:15 left in the Detroit bench penalty. And Perry Miller clears it out center ice. Now it's brought back in by Persson. The Islanders changing, setting up their power play now. This is Mike Bossy, handed it off to Gillies, broken up though, and Hogebong lifts it down the ice. 50 seconds left in the Detroit bench penalty being served by Carroll. Rogie shot it in behind the Detroit goal. Going in after it is Harper. Harper kicked it but not out, and Harper then just gloved it right into the crowd. And they'll have the play in the circle to the right of the Detroit net.
And the Wings have played a very strong second period.
They have scored the only goal of the period. Well, it's a battle of the rookies when Terry Tyler, John Long, and the Detroit Pistons meet the exciting young Chicago Bulls. That'll be Tuesday night at 8:30 right here on TV 50. Red Wings have won 2 of their last 3 games, 3 of their last 5. Really felt they should have beaten the Los Angeles Kings at home, but that just didn't happen. Tommy Bergman lifted it to the line, but not out. Potvin held it in. Now that's Clark Gillies with it, playing it back to Potvin. Potvin to Persson, Stefan Persson, right out in front, and Bossy just couldn't get to it. Dale McCourt has it. Here's McCourt bringing it out to center ice and then lifting it down the ice. It bounced off to the side of the New York goal. 15 seconds remaining in the Detroit penalty. Stefan Persson ahead now to Bossy. Mike Bossy dropped it back. It's over the line. Trottier, he was stopped. And Tommy Bergman sent it back out. Just a couple seconds remaining. The penalty is over. Detroit's at full strength. And Vachon made the stop on Gillies. Play stays in the Detroit zone. Both teams at full strength. Now that's Persson with a shot. Knocked down in front and cleared to Nick Libet. Libet starts out with it. Over on the right side to Carroll. And Carroll overskated it. It's taken by Bossy. Bossy's pass lifted into the Detroit zone. Harper returns it. That's Carroll. He couldn't get away. And now Tommy Bergman. Bergman handing it to Libet. Libet backhands it in behind the New York net, and Persson will go back after it. 2-1, the Islanders lead. We have 6 minutes to go in the second period. Errol Thompson will be guesting live from here in our telecast location in the second intermission. Now Harper stopped Trottier. Puck cleared ahead, too far for Saint Laurent. It's kept in by Carroll. Now to Saint Laurent. He failed to get out in front. Here's Carroll with it. Greg Carroll playing it back in the net to Saint Laurent. And Carroll was down, couldn't control it, and Harris starts back. Billy Harris, Tonelli on the left side. Playing behind the Detroit goal. Vachon cleared it away. Harper sent it along the boards for Saint Laurent. Back it comes to Carroll. Now Bolduc. Danny Bolduc on the wrong wing. Carried it out in front. He was dumped. Play came back out center ice, and again the Wings had a lot of people on the ice. It's bounced back into the New York zone. That's Lorimer in after it. And Lorimer's going to ice the puck unless it goes to Vachon. It didn't, so it'll come back into the New York zone. And with the game 2-1 New York, we'll be back in just a moment. This is Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel and our producer Marvin Muse here at the Nassau Coliseum, the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, if you will, the home of the New York Islanders, who lead the Red Wings 2-1 with 5 minutes to go in the second period. Billy Smith, way out of his own net, shot it up into the crowd. So they'll hold the face-off in the circle to the left side of the New York net. Well, a season ago, that might have been called as a delay of game penalty.
They used to warn the goaltenders every time they deliberately shot the puck off the playing surface, but this year it appears as though they've been lax in calling it. We've seen it happen on so many occasions where players come out and just more or less deliberately shoot the puck up in the crowd to get a face-off.
Paul Woods went over to question the referee, Greg Medill. Each team has said, no, Detroit said 3 penalties, the Islanders 2. All minors. Face off, circle to the left of the New York goal. Quick shot by Polonich, but he fanned on it. And it went sliding innocently off to the side of the net. The Islanders going after it. That's Gerry Hart, number 2, turning away from Bolduc's check. Lorimer cleared it ahead. Now that's Tonelli, Bourne, and on the right side, Billy Harris. Harris trying to work around Greg Jolly. Sent it to the net, but Vachon cleared it away. There's Lorimer with a shot. Vachon stopped that. And it's cleared to the side, and Denis Polonich has it. Out at center ice for J.P. LeBlanc to Bolduc over the line. Back to Polonich. Polonich took the shot, and he fired it wide, and he was open. And that puck is fired down the ice. There'll be another icing call against New York as Willie Huber goes back to touch it. And the play will come right back into the New York end. And now the Wings are beginning to take it to New York a little bit.
The Wings are having a strong period, I mentioned earlier, but they've had excellent chances to score goals. Had Polanic's shot been on the net, I think it would have beaten Smith. Smith was more concerned with the play over on the left side of the ice, and Polonic snapped the shot and just missed on the short side.
Detroit now with LeBratton, Nedemansky, centered by Dale McCourt. Larson and Miller back along the blue line. That's Wayne Merrick, number 11, moving in to face Dale McCourt. And it's Merrick who wins the draw. Potvin hands it off now to Dave Lewis. Lewis of the Islanders out at center ice, clearing it along the boards off to the side of the Detroit goal. Vachon played it away from Merrick, hands it off now to LeBratton. Dan LeBratton, center ice pass. McCourt couldn't get to it there. And the Islanders Merrick, his pass broken up by Miller. LeBratton sent it back into his own zone. Perry Miller rink wide on the right side for Larson. Off the skate of Dale McCourt. And Larson turns at his own line again. Now Dale McCourt with it. McCourt shooting it off the boards in behind the New York net. Smith played it over on the left side for Howatt. Howatt was stopped there by Larson. They're kicking away at it. And it's locked to the boards. The play will stay in the New York end. Well, next Saturday night, the Red Wings will be in Montreal to face the Canadiens at our telecast time at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night, as we've mentioned, Billy Lahead and the Colorado Rockies will be in Detroit's Olympia Stadium. We'll be with you at 5 minutes before 7 on WDEE Radio. Hope to have you for that. Denis Potvin turning in his own zone. Sends a pass off now to Lewis. Here's Dave Lewis coming out center ice over on the left side for Howatt. Garry Howatt shot it right through the goal mouth. Back on the point. Potvin held it in. His shot was blocked. Miller failed to work it out. It's kept in and broken up by LeBratton. Danny LeBratton's pass off a skate. McCourt played it back now to Miller. Nystrom missed McCourt with a check. Here's a pass coming back from McCourt again, and it went off him, and he failed to work it. Merrick turns back now for the Islanders. Backhands it into the corner in the Detroit zone with Nedemansky tipping it away. Reed Larson. Now Larson pulled away from Merrick. Center ice pass to LeBratton with Nedemansky trailing. LeBratton got it out in front, but he stopped there. Play goes to the corner. Nedemansky shoved his man off of it, Gerry Hart, but Merrick cleared it to Nystrom. Nystrom slid it to the line, and now here moving with it is Howatt into the Detroit zone with Larson coming back. And it was McCourt that knocked it off his stick. Dale McCourt. He's turned around in the center ice zone, still controlled it though, played it to LeBratton, but he was going to the bench. Livet came off the bench and didn't play it. It was an identical play in which the Red Wings were penalized. Stefan Persson now. Here is Persson taking it into the Detroit zone. He left it right there. Billy Hogebaum dropped it back for Livet. Livet's pass broken up. Moving back in now, offside was McKendry, as that time an Islander player was just going to the bench. So you look at Perry Miller asking Medill why not there. We shall be back with the answer maybe in a moment. So back we are to the live action now. The teams are at full strength. The Islanders move out to center ice. Stefan Persson lifting it into the corner in the Detroit zone. Rogie Vachon played it away, but not out. Then it's knocked away and rolls out center ice. 2-1, the Islanders lead it with a minute and a half to go in the second period. Gerry Hart handing it off to McKendry. Played off to the side of the Detroit goal, Tommy Bergman. Now Bergman lifted it out center ice for Nick Livet. Livet has Woods moving. Here's Paul Woods over the line. He drilled a shot, and Smith knocked it to the corner. Woods right in after it. Potvin took a whack at him, but Woods hands it back to Harper with a shot. And Smith grabs that and held on to it as it came loose out in front of the New York goal.
And there was really a screen shot. Harper play come back to the point. When Harper shoots the puck, it goes through 3 or 4 players. It was a real good play back out to the point by Woods. Now, Harper's not one of the real hard shooters in the National League, but he did get more wood on this one. But there was no one there to grab the loose puck.
I'm pretty sure I read that puck all the way up. As you watch it, it says NHL.
Well, Smith was very alert, though. He jumped on the loose puck before Nick Livet or anyone could actually grab it.
When we went away for the last commercial, Sid, the Red Wings did argue with the referee Medill, and more particularly with this fellow right here. Matt Pavelich, who had called the Red Wings for too many men on the ice because the Islanders were more glaringly so on that play in which an offside was called.
Well, Westfall caused the offside by coming out. The player bench is about 6 feet inside the blue line, and he made the change. They had an extra man on the ice, and he was the reason for the whistle being blown. Offside coming in, extra man on the ice.
So now the play is in the New York zone. Bossy tipped it out center ice. Back after it, Larson. Here's Dale McCourt with a minute to go in the period, giving it now to Willie Huber. Huber again lifts it down the ice. It slides off to the side of the net. Potvin went in after it. Denis Potvin starting out. His pass broken up by Saint Laurent. Andre Saint Laurent being hampered in the Detroit zone. Mike Bossy got it loose. Vachon stopped him twice. 2 shots by Bossy. His own rebound. Here's Bossy again. And that time Huber knocked him off the puck. Trottier took it out in front. It goes in behind the Detroit goal. A half a minute to play. A chance now for Lewis. Lewis fired the shot wide, and the rebound will come all the way out to center ice. And the Islanders dangerous. Detroit leads it 2-1. Now it's Trottier bouncing it to Gillies. Denis Potvin stopped that ahead to Saint Laurent. Potvin just whacks it in behind the New York net with 10 seconds to go in the period. This is Denis Potvin out on the right side to Trottier. Trottier tried to work away from J.P. LeBlanc. Potvin to Gillies, but the period will end as the play goes into the Detroit zone. Good, solid second period of action. With the score, the New York Islanders 2, the Detroit Red Wings 1. The end of the second period will be back to the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment.
Shot.
Hey, hockey fans, now would be an ideal time to treat yourself to a refreshing Vernors. Whatever you do, don't get caught with your Vernors down. After 2 periods of play, the New York Islanders 2, the Detroit Red Wings 1. The Islanders out shooting Detroit 11-6 in that second period, but the Wings getting the only goal. That's scored by Dan LeBret. And a fellow who gets into the lineup and another freak accident puts him right back out is Errol Thompson, the young man who's played 50 games of the Wings this season with 16 goals and 28 assists, and now joins Sudable.
Errol, I thought possibly everyone is aware of the fact that you came to the Red Wings late last year in the big trade for Dan Maloney and a couple of draft picks. But I thought, let's just go back and pick up Errol Thompson as a junior. You're one of not too many players in the National League that was born out in Prince Edward Island. How'd you wind up getting started in hockey?
Well, Sid, I had kind of what you call a mixed-up career, I think. I played junior in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I played there for a couple of years, and hockey was getting the better of me, so I gave it up for 2 years and found myself a job, and I worked from 8 to 5 and decided I'd go back to school. So I came back home to Prince Edward Island, and there was a senior team at home wanted me to play for them, and I still wasn't sure. So I went back and they played 16 games with the senior team, and it was fun again. And as a result, I guess I must have had 1 or 2 good games during that span. And Johnny Bauer, who was scouting for Toronto at the time, scouted me and put my name in. And they phoned me and asked me if I was drafted when I report to camp. And I had everything to gain and nothing to lose. So as a result of that, I went.
Now, do you mind me mentioning, I was just reading the little notes there in the Red Wing releases. Do they still call you Spud?
Yeah, it's funny. I had a couple of nicknames when I was with the Toronto organization, and I came here. That was the first name that they gave me was Spud. And it's funny because, I don't know, I'm so used to my other names, and I hear Spud, it takes me a minute to think about it.
Errol, we watched a young hockey player, a second-year pro, score his 49th and 50th goal tonight. Back in 75, 76, you had your big year with Toronto. You scored over 40 goals, so you know what that's all about.
Well, I think I know what it's all about, but I don't know the magic 5-0 number. And you have to give Mike Bossy credit because he's a terrific hockey player. And when a guy is like that, there's always somebody, a checker on him. And if a guy can come up accomplish something like that 2 years in a row, there's nothing to, I mean, it's right there. You don't have to say anything about him.
All right, as a hockey player and playing in the National League, and I keep thinking of this Bossy, Trottier, Clark Gillies line, how important is it to have a fellow like Trottier throwing that puck around as a center iceman?
Well, if you really watch Trottier, he's unbelievable with the puck. He knows what to do with it, and for a young guy the way he is, he's unbelievable. And if he keeps going, there's not going to be anybody to touch him or Michael Bossy either. You see, when he first came in the year, they expected big things, and he's showing everything. There's some other guys that they're big shooters in junior, and they come to the National League and take them a year or 2 to develop. And I think Brian has showed it his first couple of years that he didn't need that time to develop.
All right, Errol, let's just talk briefly now about the Wings. You know, last year, you fellas really turned hockey around in Detroit. You got everybody talking about it. They had just a terrific season. This year, things have gone a little rough. Is there any basic reason as far as you can think?
I don't know, Sid. I think we went through that before, and I think because we had the nucleus last year, I think we should have maybe kept the personnel that we had. I don't know. That's my own personal opinion on it. When you change the 50% of your team around in 3 short months, there's bound to be something happen. And one good thing I found out with the team, there's no inner bickering between any of us. We're all as if we've been winning, you know, which is the sad thing. We're not winning, and we want to win, and nobody's giving up in their team. We've got a lot of young players that are going to develop next year that much better, with the hopes that the veterans like myself will come through with the big years too.
Errol, that's nice to hear. There's so many things I've got to ask you, and we'll be back after we pause for this message. Errol, this has been the kind of a season probably that Errol Thompson doesn't want to remember too much. 2 freak accidents in a way. First of all, I think it was Perry Miller. You're going to have to probably straighten me out. In a game in Detroit, carrying the play along the ice, went to make a clearing pass, went over the bench, and struck you in the face.
Well, it was actually it was Tommy Bergman.
Tommy Bergman.
It was just, I think, it's the way the year's been going for myself and the team-wise. It was just one of those freak accidents, and I just hope it never happens again. All
right, now that fractured your jaw. Now I hear through the grapevine that because of your injury, you took off 15 or 20 pounds because of you having your jaws wired.
Well, my mouth was wired shut together for 2 weeks, and I lost, I think, somewhere around 14 or 15 pounds because I was strictly on a liquid diet.
All right, then you come back and you get back in the lineup and you're scoring goals, and you're off. You are having a fine season as far as scoring goals. Then another freak accident, playing against your old teammates, and again, your own teammates carrying the puck. What happens this time?
Well, continue on with the way the year's been going. One of our defensemen were going to clearing the puck, and they hit one of our Toronto players on the skate, I guess, and came up and went between the bars of my helmet and cracked my nose.
All right, now, according to the report we got here today, is that you're going to miss, say, a couple more games. Could you not have played, Errol, with, say, some kind of a facial mask?
Well, the thing is, the way the mask is situated now, Sid, I have 2 things on there now, and I put the 3rd one on, and it was really hurting my vision. I couldn't, it was distracting everything. You know, the puck was, I could see the puck, but I was looking through 4 different things. So the doctor said, it's either that or just sit out for 10 days, and that would be me missing 3 games, which tomorrow would be the last. Now, hopefully I'll be back on Wednesday.
Good. All right, Errol, let's just go. The start of a hockey season, you come into a new club this year. You played 14 games with them last year, and you come in, you're starting a new season. Do you set goals for yourself before the season starts as to how many goals or how many points you want to make?
Well, personally, Sid, I think I set my goals at either between 20 and 25 goals, and everything above that is a bonus. But I think if I don't make it and the team plays well and does well, that's all I'm concerned about, because it's a team sport, and individually it helps too, but if you got 20 guys or 5 guys that score 20 goals, that's going to mean a lot better than 4 guys that score 12 and 1 guy that scores 30, you know. So that way I just want to help the team because I really enjoy in Toronto, and I just hope that our loyal fans stay with us because we're not giving up, and I hope they don't either.
All right, now, the fact that you do set goals, if things start going bad, they always say hockey players, when say you get scoring chances and the puck's not going on the net, that hockey players get down on themselves, probably more so than the fans realize it.
I think confidence is a big part of the game. You know, if you have confidence in yourself and the players have confidence in you, and also the coach has confidence in you, then maybe if you lose your self-confidence, the players themselves or the coach can get you built back up. And if you have a slump, maybe 10 or 15 games where you don't do something, all of a sudden you might break out with 3 or 4. And so right away you're right back up where you started.
Now, Errol, I'm going to get down to the real nitty-gritty now. Montreal Canadiens are the defending champions. Here we're watching the New York Islanders that in the equal number of games this year are just 2 points behind. They're in a different division. Do you see any possible chance where the Islanders could upset the Montreal Canadiens?
I think so. The Islanders got a great team. They've got, four lines that play really well together, excellent defense. And I think it's just a matter of experience. They've came so close a couple of years, and this year could be their year.
All right. As a player then, we'll go back to that. What goaltender do you say don't like to face? Is there any particular goaltender that caused you more problems than any other goaltender?
I think I've got about 16 around the league somewhere, Sid. But Dryden's good, and the Islanders have 2 excellent goaltenders too. there's some guys that are playing really well with teams that haven't got much in front of them. So you have to give credit to a lot of the teams that you know, are winning because of the goaltenders and hanging tough because of their goaltenders, not because of the players in front of them.
Errol, we're looking forward to seeing you back in the lineup. Thanks ever so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Sid.
It's always nice to stand beside a good-looking young fellow.
Thank you.
Now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
I thank you for that, Sid and Harold Thompson. Many of our guests receive a $100 gift certificate from Cousins Clothiers, where fit has been foremost for over 50 years. Well, after 2 periods of play, the score here at the Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders 2, the Detroit Red Wings 1. And we'll be ready for the start of the 3rd period in just a moment. The referee skated over to the timer down there. Okay, here now Billy Hogabaum in against Trottier. The puck came to J.P. LeBlanc. Over on the left side, Perry Miller dropped it back for Harper. Terry Harper firing it along the boards in behind the New York net, going after Gerry Hart. We're in the opening seconds of the 3rd period. 2-1 the Islanders as Hart starts out. Gerry Hart, former Red Wing some seasons ago. It's cleared into the Detroit zone. Tony Bergman sent it back out center ice. With it now is Bossy. He was checked by LeBlanc. Hogabaum back to LeBlanc. He's hauled down. There'll be a penalty coming up to Bossy. And now the Red Wings are going to have the extra man as Bossy will go off for holding. And the Red Wings, with just 30 seconds, will have the extra man.
And there's no doubt about this penalty. A little pass from Hogabaum up to LeBlanc, and looking for Bossy's stick got up around his neck, and he just pulled JP right back over, and so Bossy goes to the penalty box, and the Wings get their second opportunity to possibly see if they can tie this hockey game.
Well, we've mentioned the fact that the Wings have not been strong in the 3rd period. There is Billy Smith in the Islander goal. But they're going to have to be here in the 3rd period tonight against the New York Islanders. And the last game the Red Wings played with New York, you'll recall, was at Olympia Stadium in Detroit when the Wings were down badly in that hockey game. Came out of nowhere to come back, and Paul Woods tied it in the last few seconds. Willie Huber goes in behind his own goal. Now Huber bounced it into the corner for Tommy Bergman. Bergman ahead for Libet. Libet's pass deflected away, came right back to him. Tommy Bergman out at center ice. Bossy for holding at 30 seconds. Detroit with the extra man. Here now is Dale McCourt. Fired the shot. Smith stopped that. Libet dug it out of the corner. Libet still controlling it there. Looking for somebody back into the circle. Back on the point now, and it bounced away from Tommy Bergman. The Wings have to come back onside. Nedomansky's pass. McCourt played it behind Libet. He came back to get it. Now here's Nedomansky over the line, going toward the corner. Pulling up there, he's got Huber open on the point. Nedomansky skated it back in the circle and bounced it to Huber. Willie Huber playing it now to Dale McCourt, to Nedomansky with a shot, and it went right over the top of the goal, off the goaltender Smith. Smith actually deflected that puck, went right over his shoulder and just over the crossbar. Now it'll be Dale McCourt. He overskated it. Nedomansky, he overskated it, and Huber hands it off to Tommy Bergman. Bergman on the left side to Saint Laurent. Andre Saint Laurent digging in behind the net. Saint Laurent into the corner with it now. Back it comes to Tommy Bergman with a shot. That went wide. Dale McCourt digs it off the boards. McCourt skating it back on the circle. McCourt in the corner now to Nedomansky. Back to Willie Huber, and he fanned on the shot. And Huber made the big save as Bourne was almost loose. A weak shot by Tommy Bergman, and Potvin lifts it down the ice. 15 seconds to go in the penalty, and the Wings have had chances. Now this is Saint Laurent trying to work away from Harris. It bounced back to Nedomansky. 5 seconds left in the penalty. The Wings are at their own blue line. Willie Huber now. Huber took it to the line. As far as he got, it's cleared back into the Detroit end. Penalized player Bossy is back on. Dennis Potvin dropped it off for Greg Carroll. Now to Perry Miller. Miller ahead to Saint Laurent. Long pass on the right side. Reed Larson. Larson bounced it off to the side of the net. That's Nystrom going after it. Played it into the corner. Gerry Hart along the boards on the left side. Howatt cleared it into the center ice zone, and Perry Miller sent it ahead. The Islanders broke that up. Here's Nystrom. He was stopped right there by Miller. Puck rolls into the corner. Larson in after it. A rolling puck. Larson was jammed off the puck by Merrick. Still got it ahead to Polonix. Now center ice to Carroll. Here's Greg Carroll. He handed it off to Bowl, rather to Saint Laurent, but it went in offside, and they'll come back out over the New York blue line. And with a score 2-1 New York, we shall be back in just a moment. We have played 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the third period. The Red Wings trail by a goal. Face off just over the New York blue line. Merrick in against Carroll. Puck went into the Islanders' zone. That's Howatt laying it in behind his own goal. San Laurent went in after it. And Lorimer finally got control of it. He starts Nystrom out. 3-man rush for the Islanders. Nystrom driving it into the corner. Polonich and Howatt, and they're bumping it along the boards. On for the first time, and here they go. It's Polonich and Howatt in the corner as Howatt went heavily into Polonich. He turned around, gave him a shove, and now they have the wrestling match going. So they're on the ice for the first time together, and it didn't take long. Howatt landing to the back of the head with the right hand as Polonich lost his helmet. And the two of them with a pretty good grip on each other. And nary a blow has been struck, I believe, that has landed, and the two linesmen get in there now and haul the two little battlers apart.
Two Tigers, both played up in Flin Flon, played junior together, and I actually think they played on the same line up there.
Roommates.
And every time that they meet, they really tangle.
An hour after the game, if they had the opportunity, they'd be out together.
Oh, it's remarkable. That's why they say in hockey, you know, you can fight against your own brother out there. And here's a case where Howatt and Polonich is trying to make a play on the puck, and Howatt actually runs Polonich into the boards and gives him a little push in the face, then throws a right at him, and first thing you know, it's underway. Neither player got hurt.
So the two of them will go in with the time of the penalties, 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Well, Super 6 Tire Centers brought you the moment to remember who was the only Red Wing player to score 6 goals in a single game. It was Howe, wasn't it, Sid?
Yes, and no relation to Gordy. Sid Howe scored 6 goals. The Red Wings beat the New York Rangers 12-2 right at the Olympia, February the 3rd, 1944.
5 minutes.
We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Is 3:36.
Well, the Red Wings pick up a break in the penalty department. Garry Howatt was given 2 minutes for roughing, 5 for fighting, and Polonich 5 for fighting. Penalties called at 3:36, so that means Detroit will have the extra man. The 5-minute fighting penalties offset one another. And the Wings have the extra man. Now Reed Larson turned in behind his own goal, off to Nick Libet. He handed it back to Larson, back to Libet. Wings trail by a goal, have their second straight power play chance. Danny Bolduc at his own blue line, winding up. Here's Bolduc over the line. He played it back to Libet to Paul Woods. Woods still deep, though, and he shot it all the way out center ice as Larson had moved in. So the Wings have to come back onside. Nick Libet drops it back for Dale McCourt. McCourt's pass was broken up by Bob Bourne. Bourne took it away from him, and then McCourt covered up. 1:20 left in the power play. Here now, Paul Woods. Ahead to Bolduc on the boards on the right side. Stopped right there by Gerry Hart. So Larson will try it. Turned it over on the left wing for Libet. Libet firing it in behind the New York net. Gerry Hart has it there and shoots it down the ice. And the Wings have had nothing going so far. Here's Netamansky with a minute left in the power play. He's winding up, ran into Woods, over the line now. Netamansky to the corner, looking for somebody, and it was knocked away from him by Potvin. And again, the Islanders shoot at the length of the ice. And the Wings are doing nothing right now with their extra man. Dale McCourt being watched by Westfall. San Laurent drops it off for Larson. 3-man rush on the left side, San Laurent. Andre San Laurent cutting in front. The puck was loose right there and driven to the boards. Dale McCourt has it. McCourt holding it in along the blue line. Dale McCourt sends Reed Larson with it. Larson's shot deflected onto the target, but knocked away by Smith. Larson trying to hold it in, didn't do it. And with 15 seconds left in the penalty, the Wings have to move back into their own zone to get it. Netamansky, now Reed Larson. Larson coming out center ice. Just 5 seconds in the penalty. Larson took the long shot. Smith has no trouble with that. And Potvin scoops it back down the ice, and the penalty to over. Bossy was serving the penalty for Garry Howatt, who remains in now to serve his 5 minutes. Now it's Larson's pass broken up by Bossy. Bossy being checked by Carroll. Carroll sent him down. Here's Larson trying to get away. Trotzy took it away from him. Gillies with a shot, and that deflected wide. Netamansky failed to work out. Gillies took it away from him. Here's Trotzy with a shot, and Tony Bergman blocked that. Now Sam Laurent starts out. Tommy Bergman really upended Bossy. Now Carroll sends Netamansky over the line. He fired the shot. Smith made the save, and Netamansky decked on a check by Trottier. Now here's Willie Huber. He lifted it back in. It bounced right to Smith. It's Sam Laurent who was dumped. Everybody's going down now, and the referee letting everything happen. Trottier with Bossy over on the right side. Play went in offside. It'll come back out center ice.
And talk about action and people being knocked down. Netamansky was hit by Trottier, and Trottier's not that big, but he got a full piece of Ned. Then Andre St. Laurent went to try to get in position out in front of Smith, and he was dumped. Just prior to that, Bergman dumped Bossy, so the referee, Medill, is just standing back and letting the players decide amongst themselves as to what they're going to do.
Greg Jolly moves back out now. He'll be paired with Willie Huber. Greg Carroll skates over to the Detroit bench. You look at Trottier on the Islander bench. He brought Denis Polonich's helmet. He lost that during the fight. Both teams are at full strength. 2-1 is the score. The Islanders lead Detroit. 13:20 to go in the third period. Willie Huber being checked in along the boards by Merrick. Greg Jolly sent it ahead to Bolduc. Now Dan Bolduc streaking out center ice. Here's Bolduc over the line, trying to go through, and that puck slid to the side of the net, and Smith came out but cleared in behind his own goal. Gerry Hart. Now Hart ahead to Merrick. Merrick at center ice. He's got Nystrom moving. Libet tipped it away from him. Libet played it into the corner. McKendry put it out in front. A chance for Persson. He played it to the corner instead for Nystrom. Nystrom being checked there by Jolly. Jolly took it away from him. Then he was grabbed, and the play goes deeper into the corner. Willie Huber sent it to the opposite side. Nobody there but Gerry Hart. Hart's pass, broken up by Jolly, and Jolly dumps it out center ice. Nystrom of the Islanders. He played it beyond Merrick. Now Greg Jolly clearing it along the boards on the right side. Hart will get there first, and the Islanders have the control in their own zone. Gerry Hart ahead now to Merrick. Wayne Merrick wound up from center ice. Vachon handled that. Drops it back in the net for Libet. Nick Libet worked away from Nystrom, dropping it off to Huber, and ahead now to Paul Woods. Woods, a good move by Kaszycki. Took the shot, but it was Lorimer that got a stick in front of that and sent it up into the crowd. 2-1 New York, and we'll be back in a moment. Bruce Martin along with Fideva with you from here at the Nassau Coliseum, where the Detroit Red Wings trail the Islanders 2-1. The play just inside the New York blue line. The Wings won the draw, and Larson lifted it high off the glass. That's Denis Potvin going in behind his own net with it. 12 minutes to go in the hockey game. Now Potvin's pass comes out to John Tonelli, moving out center ice. Kaszycki ahead of him. Larson broke that up. Came right back to Potvin. Potvin around Miller. Here's Potvin, a backhander, and Vachon blocked it. Coming way out of the goal to do it. It's loose out in front. They score! And Vachon jumped up quickly to argue it, but gets nowhere. And the Islanders, bouncing during the play, have gone ahead by 3-1.
I believe John Tonelli's going to get credit for the goal. It's a case where Vachon really made the save. Potvin realized that he had a chance because of Willie Huber falling. He get in there. Vachon makes the save. The play comes back out, and Vachon makes the save again. And I thought that Dale McCourt had Tonelli all tied up.
Well, it's Tonelli's goal. Now we're back to the live action, and they puck fired back out center ice. The goal coming at 8:19. I'm quite sure it'll be John Tonelli who will draw credit for it, and that'll be his 14th on the season. Denis Potvin making a good part of the play, but that puck was just bouncing all over the place and ended up bouncing into the net. 3-1 New York. 11 minutes to go here in the third period. Netamansky gloved it ahead. If McCourt plays it, it'll be whistled down, and they'll keep the face-off at center ice.
The breaks of hockey. Vachon does make a couple saves here. It's a play that's dangerous. It bounces around, and then I'm sure that while Dale McCourt had his stick pretty well over John Tonelli's, he still didn't stop him from putting the puck in the net.
Our guests receive a gift certificate for a pair of Clark shoes or boots from Sherman Shoe Stores in Birmingham, Somerset Mall, Fairlane, and Lakeside Centers, and the 12 Oaks Novi. They have yet to announce the goal here, so maybe they're still trying to figure it out themselves. But it looked to be Tonelli who knocked it in out in front of the net. Now that puck slid back to the Detroit blue line. Tommy Bergman hands it off to Terry Harper. Here's Harper to Hogabaum. He just batted it into the New York end. Stefan Persson picks it up there. Has Dave Lewis moving with it. He's turned around. Hogabaum tried to get it loose. Couldn't do it. J.P. LeBlanc has control of it now. Slid it back in. Clark Gillies banged it back out center ice. Tommy Bergman shoots it back into the New York end. The game has been played on, I would call, relatively even terms. But the Islanders lead it 3-1. Now New York's Clark Gillies comes down the ice into the Detroit zone, trying to work around Tommy Bergman. Put it right out in front, and it was J.P. LeBlanc that came back and defended there. Saint Laurent. Andre Saint Laurent over the line with it, trying to set up LeBlanc. Smith knocked it away. They go into the corner. Gillies lifts it high in the air. Harper knocks it down. Terry Harper ahead to Hogabaum. His shot blocked by Lewis. Clark Gillies gets the stick on it. Lifts it back into the Detroit zone. In after it, Merrick, but he's over the line, way offside. So the Islanders lead it by a score of 3-1, and we'll be back in just a moment. The game is 3-1, 10 minutes to go in the third period. The New York Islanders leading the Red Wings. Merrick in against Paul Woods. Libet got a stick on it. Merrick, though, takes it away, and now that's Lorimer. Lorimer's pass broken up by Libet. One-on-one with Gerry Hart. Libet fired the shot, and it went wide. Came off the boards. Merrick tipped it off to center ice. Paul Woods drops it back now for Greg Jolly. Here's Woods with it. Playing it back to Jolly on the left side. That was Nystrom who came in, and the puck tipped high into the air. Woods picks it up. Slides it into the New York zone. Bolduc goes chasing after Hart, but Hart covers up and goes in behind his own goal. Now that's McKendry. Alex McKendry ahead. Merrick over on the right side. Nystrom. Nystrom and Libet go chasing in after it. Nystrom gave Libet a little bump along the boards. Merrick gets into it, but they have the puck locked, and the face-off will stay in the Detroit end to the left of Rogie Vachon. Well, the secret formula that enables a scientist to walk through walls turns him into a crazed murderer in 4D Man. Our creature feature, it'll be next on TV 50.
Bruce, I mentioned just at the start of the third period on a release that comes out from the National League from Ron Andrews listing the players. There's roughly 375 players in the National Hockey League. 325 of them are Canadian-born, 27 American-born, 14 Swedish, and the number of other players born other than Canada, United States, and Sweden, 9. So there's quite a mixture of hockey players, and 55 of that total are first-year hockey players that are eligible for the Calder Trophy.
2 of those players not born in Sweden, Canada, the United States are on the Red Wing roster that I can think of, Willie Huber and Václav Nedemansky.
Right.
Tommy Bergman in behind his own goal. Cleared it out on the right side. Gillies intercepted it. Bergman tipped it, but not out. That's Kaszycki. The puck shot wide of the net by Westfall. They jam into the corner again. Bergman and Westfall. And that puck is loose. Westfall got a stick on it. Dale McCourt then couldn't control it. Still, they let them play. And it'll be Dale McCourt starting out. The pass broken up, though, before it got out by Potvin. There's Kaszycki. Goes chasing it into the corner, overskated it, and Reed Larson has it. And Kaszycki took it away from him. Tommy Bergman covered up, and Larson off to the side of his own goal, lifts it in the air and bounces it back into the New York end. Potvin goes back after it. They waved off the icing. Potvin will play it. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the third period. 3-1 Islanders. Potvin on the left side to Kaszycki. Return pass went too far. Here's Tommy Bergman ahead to Nedemansky. One-on-one with Lewis. Nedemansky drove the shot, and Lewis went low and deflected that. And the puck sent back into the Detroit end with Reed Larson back after it. Now Larson winding up. Both teams changing on the move. Larson over the line. Sent it into the corner. Going in after it. That's Stefan Persson. Persson of the Islanders clears it out center ice. Bob Bourne checked there by Dale McCourt. Now to LeBreton. Danny LeBreton circling in behind the net was sent off balance. Tonelli played it in behind his own goal. Goes in after it. Now he drops it off for Persson. Here's Stefan Persson bringing it out towards center ice. Playing it now to Gerry Hart. Hart's pass taken by Bourne. Nedemansky knocked it away, but Bourne holds it in. Sliding it in behind the Detroit goal, and Vachon cleared it off to the side. Picking it up now is Willie Huber. Huber moves out center ice. He was dumped. Here's Netamansky over the line with Dale McCourt with a shot. Smith made the save. The rebound came right out in front, but nobody there. Now it'll be Persson bringing it back out. Stefan Persson back into the Detroit zone. Here's Persson handing it off now to Harris. Harris drove it in behind the Detroit goal. Tonelli has it. Played it back toward the line. Persson holds it in at the right point. His pass knocked away by Greg Jolly. Now Dale McCourt. San Laurent on the right side. Netamansky back to San Laurent. And the puck didn't get through Gerry Hart. They hold it in along the boards, and the play is stopped, and the face-off will stay in the New York end. And we'll be back in just a moment. Hey, fan, today, Parts Plus will present this Fan Appreciation Award during the Parts Plus post-game show. Billy Hogabaum in against Trottier. Trottier wins the draw. Here's Bossy. He had the first 2 goals of the hockey game. He's still in the Detroit zone, handed it off to Trottier. Denis Potvin came back, checked him, then a shot by Bossy right on. And Vachon stopped that with a good move. Bossy was wide open in the slot. Boy, he gets into position. Puck sent right back into the Detroit end. Terry Harper in after it. It bounced high in the air, went back to the corner, played in behind the Detroit goal. The Islanders battle to hold it in, and they hold it to the boards. Face-off stays in the Detroit end to the left of the Red Wing goal. We have now 6 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the hockey game.
The fact that Bossy scored the first 2 goals, he only scored 1 goal in the first 3 games against the Wings, but here today, he scored 2 goals, but he has had 3 or 4 excellent chances to add to it, and Vachon has beaten him in each time.
Now it's Trottier in against Greg Carroll. Carroll won the draw, and Tony Bergman takes it in behind his own goal. He starts out. Moving his way out to center ice now. Tommy winds up, then fired it off to the side of the net. Billy Smith cleared it into the corner. That's Denis Potvin tying up Gillies, but the Wings failed to keep it in. Harper did at the line. It's taken away now by San Laurent. San Laurent moving into position, knocked off his stick by Lorimer. San Laurent again with it. And the Red Wings are all together in the circle, and no way they could get to the pass, and coming back with it now is Trottier. Trottier trying to work around Tommy Bergman. The puck loose in behind the net. Harper goes in to take it. Now Terry Harper playing it ahead to Carroll. Knocked away from him, covering up San Laurent. Here's Terry Harper with it. Shooting it out center ice. Back after it now is Potvin. Over on the right side to Lorimer. Nick Libet took it away from him, rolls it back into the Islanders' end. Wings changing on the move. 5 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the 3rd period. Garry Howatt slowed up by Woods. Woods took it away from him. Then he played it to Perry Miller back in the Detroit zone. Back to Woods at the Detroit line. Reed Larson handing it off to Miller. Back to Woods. The Wings start out. Woods from center ice with a shot that Smith has no trouble with. He'll drop it for his defenseman Lewis. Dave Lewis lifts it high in the air. That'll go down the ice, whether it goes far enough for an icing, and it does, and the play will come right back into the New York end. With 4 minutes, 42 seconds still to go in the hockey game as you look at Reed Larson.
And the Wings have been in this hockey game. They've played a strong game. They had chances in the 2nd period where they could have had a little more offensive thrust, possibly could have tied the game and gone from there, but the Islander defense certainly clear things out in front. There's some rebounds that come off Smith, but it just seems that the Wings can't get in position to get them while they're down. And the Red Wing end, Vachon makes saves, but then they jump on loose pucks.
Reed Larson checked just inside the line. That's Merrick, who shot it back into the Detroit zone. Miller comes back after it. Now Perry Miller lost it, taken away by Merrick, a centering pass. Here's Libet taking it off the boards, clearing it out on the right side for Bolduc over the line, trying to work around Lewis. Bolduc sets up Perry Miller with a shot, another shot. There'll be a penalty coming up to the Islanders. And the play is whistled down and a slashing call to New York. Well, the Wings have had the 2 power play chances here in the period, have failed to click. We'll see if they can do it now. We'll be back after this message. Bob Nystrom in the penalty box. You look there at Eddie Westfall. He's penalty killer extraordinary.
This gives the Wings another chance, Bruce, and Nystrom he does a little chopping, and
really see much of it right there on Perry Miller. So that's Nystrom. He's off for slashing at 15:46. Nick Libet can send it back to Reed Larson. Now that's Willie Huber who gloved it, held it in. Huber's out on the right wing on the line now. Willie Huber sending it into the corner now for Netamansky out in front, and Libet's shot deflected away. Taken off by Dale McCourt. McCourt sets up Netamansky. He fired the shot. Smith stopped that. Netamansky digs into the corner after. Gerry Hart gave him a bump. Willie Huber trying to hold it in, but kneeling on the puck, the Islander defenseman Potvin, so the play stays in the circle to the left of Billy Smith with 1:34 left in the penalty.
And the fact that there's only 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game, if the Wings could score a goal early on this power play, they would still have the chance then possibly to tie it up.
Now behind his own goal, Bob Bourne, he finds the opening and clears it the length of the ice. Reed Larson swinging in behind his own net. He starts out. He was checked right there. And it's Netamansky who circles in behind Vachon. Now right side pass to Huber. Libet along his own blue line hands it back to Reed Larson. Larson with an opening is over the line. And then he's checked by Potvin. His pass will be taken by Netamansky. Netamansky checked, brought it back with the blue line, played it off the stick of Larson. It's held in by McCourt. Here's Dale McCourt, and fanning on the shot was Carroll. Netamansky kept it in at the line. That's a shot by Larson, knocked down. Gerry Hart playing without a stick, and the puck ended up in the crowd. 45 seconds left in Nystrom's penalty.
You know, and the Wings have given the Islanders more than they probably want today, but the difference, as I see it, is the fact that every time the Wings are in scoring position, the New York Islander defense don't give those fellows chances to pick up loose rebounds in front of Mr. Smith. They are either flat on their back or knocked off the play. And you've got to give credit to Persson and Potvin and Gerry Hart. Lorimer, they've done a tremendous job out in front of their goaltender.
Eddie Westfall having words out there with the linesman about something. Now it goes over to the referee to check it out. We have 2 minutes 59 seconds to go in the period. The third. 45 seconds remaining in the New York Islander penalty. The Wings have the face-off deep in the Islander zone to the right side of Billy Smith. Denis Potvin and Saint Laurent on either side of Hogebaum now. That's the forward line of Detroit. Willie Huber and Tommy Bergman back along the defense. And the Islanders win the draw and shoot at the length of the ice. Rogie Vachon cleared it into the corner for Hogebaum. He played it in the opposite corner now for Potvin. Denis Potvin slides the pass too far for Tommy Bergman. That's Saint Laurent turning with it. He was dumped by Westfall. It's picked up by Tommy Bergman. Now to Willie Huber. And Huber just lifts it in. 15 seconds left in the penalty. The puck fired to Westfall. He didn't get it out, but it came right back. Kept in by Potvin. And Potvin cleared it to the corner. Saint Laurent back on the line to Tommy Bergman with a shot. He fired it wide. Willie Huber couldn't get to it. It deflected away from him. Penalty's over now, and Nystrom coming back on. And the teams are at full strength. Huber cleared it along the boards in behind the New York net. That's Dave Lewis with it. Lewis clearing it now to Trottier. He's checked by Tommy Bergman. That's Lewis again, number 25 of New York, clearing it ahead for Trottier on the left side. Nystrom over the line into the Detroit zone, and Tommy Bergman tipped it away from him. It came right back out center ice just beyond Bossy. And 1:45 to go. The Islanders leading 3-1. Willie Huber clearing it out on the right side for Potvin. Now Tommy Bergman. Ahead to Denis Potvin at center ice. Potvin got it over the line. He stopped right there by Hart. 1.5 minutes to go. Paul Woods knocked the pass down, but it's taken by Gerry Hart. The crowd yelling, Bossy, Bossy. He's got 2 goals, his 49th and 50th, both in the first period. Nick Libet's pass tipped away. Trottier sends it back now to Persson. Now this is Gerry Hart. Hart bounces it into the Detroit zone. Vachon played it back to the goal for Paul Woods. Woods got a stick on it, turns with it again, hands it off to Greg Jolly. Jolly checked by Bossy. Here's Bossy trying to work in. He sent it right to the goal mouth, and Vachon grabs it there. And they'll keep the play in the Detroit end with 55 seconds to go.
They just move this puck around so well. Bossy steals the puck, moves in. just waits his time and puts it right across in front of the goal mouth. Trotzy got a little piece of it, but Rogie was there to cover the corner.
Face-off stays in the circle to the left side of the Detroit goal as you look at the captain of the New York Islanders, Clark Gillies. "55 seconds remaining. The Wings have put up a spirited performance here this afternoon. They've only one goal to show for it, and that was an unassisted goal by Dan LeBreton. The Islanders are 3. Here now, Greg Jolly. Jolly's pass too far for Libet. Out at center ice, Stefan Persson and Gerry Hart. Hart dumping it back in. Rogie Vachon stops it for Jolly on the left side to Libet. He tipped it out to center ice. Gillies back after it. A half a minute left in the hockey game. Persson turns with it. Now Persson ahead to Trotzy. Trotzy played it beyond Gillies. Vachon stopped it, played it now to Bolduc. Danny Bolduc in behind his own goal again. 15 seconds to go. Paul Woods. Now Terry Harper. Still in the Detroit zone. Harper played it too far for Greg Jolly. That'll be taken by Persson, giving it now to Hart. Time running out. Just 5 seconds remaining in the hockey game as Vachon stops it, gives it to Greg Jolly, and the buzzer goes. And the New York Islanders will skate off, congratulating goaltender Billy Smith and the Red Wings. Playing well, but losing the hockey game with a final score 3-1. We'll return to the Nassau Coliseum in just a moment. Well, in the third period of this hockey game, the Red Wings credited with 12 shots on goal, the New York Islanders 4. But the Islanders scored the only goal of the period and skate off with a 3-1 victory. The Wings out shooting New York 28-22 in a pretty good hockey game, Sid.
Bruce, it was a good hockey game, a real good effort for a road game. The Wings know that the Islanders are very tough here in this building. I thought they'd give them all they wanted all day long. They just couldn't capitalize when they did have chances to score. The Islander defense cleared pucks for Smith, while on the other end, Vachon made saves, but they jumped on loose pucks, and that Bossy's just too much.